Hello, let me just turn on chat really quick. Welcome everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Bienvenidos todos. Hi guys. Let me make sure my audio's working. That looks good. Okay, it looks like chat is starting to work as well. Let me make sure that this one works too. Yep, it's working. Hey guys. Welcome guys. Hello. Hi, hi, hi. Hello guys. Welcome in, welcome in. Hop on in. Hop on in everybody. Sorry about streaming like an hour later today. My brain was not working very well. Having health condition, no fun. But at least we get to stream anyway, so hi guys, hi. Hi everybody. Unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes when, you know, when you got that yucky epilepsy. Alright guys, so I wanted to like, I wasn't planning on reacting to the whole crazy Vshojo situation today, but like it just keeps getting crazier and crazier, and today like new information just dropped, like, you know, dropped in about Vshojo, so I kind of feel like I really should, like, I want to, like, you know, talk about it with you guys too. I don't have like any personal experience with Vshojo or anything. I just want to like check it out with you guys as like a fan, because I was a Vshojo fan, and so, you know, I'm pretty disappointed about the things going on. It's really crazy. It couldn't get any crazier. Maybe it will. But today it got crazier. So I wanna watch it with you guys. Like, I have a couple of videos of people who you know, did more of a deep dive, or I don't know if a deep dive is a good way to explain it, but people who like have gathered all the information together, so like we can watch it together and see all of it. So I got a couple of videos we can watch related to it. So it is pretty sad what's going on. It's pretty sad. I feel so bad because like the girls in Vshojo, they really don't deserve that. I feel so bad for them. Like, they're girls that I really look up to. Like, I really look up to them. You have no idea. Those Vshojo girls, or used to be Vshojo girls, I really looked up to them. And so I just really hope that they, like, things get better for them. Because a lot of times when, like, agencies, you know, they fall apart, a lot of times the community comes together to help them out, and they end up doing so much better. They end up doing so much better than when they were in their agency, ironically. It's so strange. Such a strange situation. But in a good way. Strange in a good way. If I don't, like, did you guys see, like, Iron Mouse's Tiltify link for her charity, like, for people to donate to the charity? That is it's the what's the charity called again? It's frick, what is it again? The her condition, the one that's related to her condition, her health condition. Yeah, they hit over 1 million. They hit over 1 million. That's like a world record. Like more than 1 million. Her immune deficiency, yeah, immune deficiency foundation, exactly. That's the one. That's the one. They hit over 1 million because everyone is like so, you know, everyone came together to do something amazing. Like, even though it's it's a sad situation, something positive came out of it, you know? Like, everyone, a bunch of VTubers, a bunch of, like, companies of, like, totally unrelated things, everyone decided to get together and do something amazing. So, like, something positive did come out of this sad situation. So let's see, like, what the sad situation is, though. Like, a lot of people may not know exactly have Twitch, I think.
Because I'm addicted to the honey inside. And in this case, that honey is vindication. For a while now, I have bah humbugged VTuber agencies. I've seen a lot of the contracts that some of the top talent were locked into with these organizations, and they are extraordinarily corrupt. I think the agencies in this space are exploitative, and they treat their talent more like prisoners. It is unbelievable the depths of greed that these agencies in the VTuber space have succumbed to. But before I dive deeper into the spaghetti and the meatballs on my disdain for VTuber agencies...
Bro, the little metaphors this guy comes up with are always so funny. I can't help it. It's so funny, the things he says. Spaghetti and meatballs. He gets funnier every time. Okay, I just want to say that.
in the industry. I would like to give you the catalyst for why I'm talking about it again today. It's because Iron Mouse just made a really sad video about why she's leaving Vshojo. Vshojo being another huge player in the VTuber space. They are a massive agency that's represented some of the top talent.
Unfortunately, I recently found out that for the past couple of months, I have been misled by Vshojo. With the information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000 from Vshojo.
For those that don't know who Iron Mouse is, she is one of the biggest streamers on Twitch in terms of subscribers. She even broke the all-time subscriber record, and she has a primary immunodeficiency disease. She has CVID. So she does a lot of charitable work for this organization, and apparently she's just discovered that Vshojo hasn't fully paid what they owed her personally, and they haven't paid the money that they owe to the charitable foundation that she was fundraising for.
Wild.
Something
for
that she does often, but Vshojo is required in this process because they handle her money in certain cases, which is not uncommon in the space. Like, I'm gonna get deeper into like a lot of things with VTuber agencies that I've tiptoed around quite a bit in the past, but I don't want to like fully go into the weeds of it here. But let me just go ahead and explain where that number's coming from, the $500,000 owed to charity that Vshojo still hasn't paid.
Crazy.
They promptly sent the payment, and the subathon was a huge success. So I decided to do it again the next year. My last subathon was one of the biggest events I've ever done. The support was overwhelming, and I ended up getting over 300,000 subscribers.
That's really crazy.
And breaking the all-time sub record. But this also meant that we had raised $515,000 for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I once again asked Vshojo to make the donation on my behalf, but unfortunately, still a year later, Vshojo has not paid the charity.
So in a nutshell, Iron Mouse ran a subathon. It was extremely successful and raised a ton of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Immune Deficiency Foundation.
My God.
And Vshojo did pay it out the first time around, but when she came back for the second time the following year, it was even bigger. It broke records, and it raised over $500,000 that were supposed to go to the Immune Deficiency Foundation that has still not been paid out to the charitable organization to this day, according to Iron Mouse. Now, I've seen a little bit of confusion, people wondering why would Vshojo even be handling that money in the first place? Why wouldn't it just come directly from Iron Mouse since it's her Twitch? Well, that's where you get into the really stinky territory where in a lot of cases these agencies, they handle the finances of the talent. Like, they put their grubby paws on it before the talent does. So it's not uncommon in the space for the agreement between talent and agency to have the agency directly handle like their Twitch subs and their Twitch revenue and their Twitch ads, that kind of thing. And in the full video, Iron Mouse goes deeper into this, so I highly encourage you to check out the full thing for the entire scoop. But in her case specifically, that was actually kind of appealing to her because then she would be able to stay even more private because she really values her anonymity. So having Vshojo involved in that process was actually kind of a big deal to her. And for previous fundraising through Tiltify, it wasn't a problem, but when it came to the subathon money, since it was going through Twitch subs and everything, it meant Vshojo was going to be involved in this process, and the first time it was fine, it apparently went off without issue, but this time, when the money was even higher, well, some kind of screws must have went loose over there at the Vshojo headquarters. I guess that shit just fucking burst into flames or something, and they just haven't got around to it. They're still putting out some fires, and they'll get to it any day now. Vshojo would be responsible for donating that money on her.
Basically, like, Iron Mouse allowed them to touch her money, so I don't know what happened when she allowed them to touch her money. She was like, "Do it for me, please. I want to stay." Because a lot of times, like when you're gonna like donate, you have to use your real name, or like depends on the situation. Sometimes you gotta use your real name, your real this, your real that. And she's super private about everything. So she asked me, she trusted them. So this is like, oh my God, this is such a sad disappointment.
Her behalf. an obligation that they still
Mango
haven't
Madness
fulfilled
asked me,
all this
how can we
time
rob
later,
Vshojo of the
according
stolen
to
charity
Iron
funds and
Mouse.
castrate the upper management?
It's diabolical.
Oh, sure.
With
Let me get my master plan ready so we can just waltz right in and handle it like it's the easiest thing ever. Because who doesn't want to spend their Friday night dealing with that mess, right?
Oof.
I mean, robbing and castrating? Sounds like the perfect plot for a blockbuster movie. Maybe we can call it the Vshojo Heist Nuts and Bolts Edition.
Yeah. Oof. Oof. It's like, oh man. Like, Vshojo was supposed to be the top of the top, most best, like, agency ever, most wholesome, angelic. You know, like, they could do no wrong. That's what everyone believed. Even I believed that.
holding over $500,000 to charity, and also withholding money that Iron Mouse is allegedly owed as well. And what's even crazier is how unsurprised I am by it. Now, full disclosure, I didn't know too much about Vshojo's inner workings. That was one of the few agencies I wasn't super privy to on like the behind the scenes of. But I'd always heard good things, but I always had skepticism because of how the industry functions at the agency level from the other ones I know. And this kind of dirty...
I'm surprised he's so aware of like the VTubing world. Not a lot of people like him who are not VTubers know about this stuff. I'm impressed.
Scummy, greedy business is just so standard for these agencies in the space. It is sickening. Now, Vshojo is going through big turbulence right now. They're losing some of their top talent. Like, even before Iron Mouse's video, about a month ago, they made a post about how Giga was going to be departing Vshojo. And then just 48 hours later, they announced Zin would also be leaving
A lot of people
Vshojo,
left.
one of their original members. So there's definitely...
I was starting to smell something strange too, because two girls at once leaving and then more, and it was like, what's going on? I'm scared.
Been some, you know, curious Georges out there wondering what's going on at Vshojo that's got everyone leaving. What's this exodus from Vshojo all about? Fun fact, Giga is actually with us at Cheeky now. We're not like a VTuber agency. That's not what I'm trying to get across. Our soap. She really likes our soap, Cheeky soap. So she's partnered with us at Cheeky, and she's an absolute sweetheart. That's what I was trying to get across. The point is, some like really good people have been leaving Vshojo, and now Iron Mouse have dropped this video about some very alleged scummy practices here at the Vshojo corporate level, and I don't know how Vshojo recovers from it going forward. They haven't made a statement yet. It's still a little too fresh as of me making this video. I'm very curious what they're going to say about it. If I had to spitball, I would imagine that their next play will be donating that money to the charitable foundation. I imagine
really
they
should
donate the $515K to the Immune Deficiency Foundation or whatever the exact number was. I bet they'll do that to desperately try and save face. I don't think the community will respond well to it because it's very clear that they're just doing it now because of the public pressure that's being exerted on them. I don't know how they move forward with a good reputation. I don't think all of their talent's going to leave overnight. I imagine a lot of those contracts, in fact, I'm confident a lot of those contracts lock them down for quite a while with like some non-disparagement clauses in there and everything. Like I bet there is a lot of things at play where the talent won't be able to leave even if they really want to. And I can only hope that the community here doesn't start attacking the Vshojo talent for staying, because I imagine in a lot of cases they don't have a choice. Now, that's kind of the situation in a nutshell, but I want to dive deeper into agencies as a whole. I've kind of teased it a little bit throughout the video. And I know people like to talk about VTubing as a whole, like it's some kind of niche that's not mainstream. That couldn't be further from the truth. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it is so lucrative. And these agencies have swooped in and made sure they are the ones getting the lion's share of that money, and they'll kind of trickle down, drip feed a little milk from their titties to the talent that's under their umbrella. And what's even more disgusting is they fed people shit and gave them a taste for it, an acquired palate, normalizing their greed, where the talent, the ones that are actually gathering the audience, you know, the actual VTubers, they don't see most of the money that they bring in. The agency does. That includes merch.
Ooh.
That includes their Twitch subs. That includes YouTube revenue. Pretty much any piece of the pie that has dollars, doubloons in it, the agency is the one that's got their fingers in it, and the VTuber gets pieces of it. Tiddlywinks. And I think it is so ass backwards. It has always rubbed me the wrong way. So I've always talked very negatively about VTuber agencies, much to the chagrin of the VTuber audience. The audience that watches VTubers is very loyal to their favorite creators in the space. So they get very upset when the 5'6" Florida man Neanderthal shoots spitballs at the agency that represents their favorite VTuber, because the community, like the relationship between the agency and the VTuber is one that's supposed to be built on like a tight connection, like this partnership, almost like a family.
Yeah.
But nothing could be further from the truth. It's about as much of a family as like the prison warden is to the prisoners. I just think it is completely unacceptable the way a lot of these agencies treat their talent. I also think a lot of people have been completely misled by them on the industry as a whole, where they act like there's only one path to success when it comes to VTubing. Or at least they did, not so much these days. It's starting to kind of get a little more clear that you don't have to sign with them. But for the longest time, it was as if there was only one path to success in the space, which was signing with an agency, where they basically give you a career. They grow you through their network. They give you all the tools to grow, but they basically own you. And I know the argument a lot of people make is, well, they gave you your career. You do owe them like 90% of the money that you generate. That makes sense. Without them, you were nothing. And I just think that is completely delusional. I think you've been brainwashed to think that. It's a little different nowadays, where so many people are doing really well independent. There are so many independent VTubers that are crushing it, and a lot of formally contracted talent for agencies have left to be indie and are still doing really well. So it's being proven that you don't need these agencies to succeed as a VTuber. And I understand, like, you know, they do help speed up the growth of the career, because then they just plug and play to like their network and just have eyes on you by default. But from everything I've seen, it just never really seems worth the trade-off. Like, you never get a better deal. So like, let's say you start with them and then you explode and become the biggest VTuber in the world. All the ones I've seen, the contracts don't scale with that success, so you still are locked into a bad deal. And now the agency just makes a killing off of your success, and you kind of stay in the same spot, more or less. Like, it just doesn't ever really feel worth it to do that when you can still be very successful without these agencies. And it just sucks to see that it is still so common that these agencies are greedy scumbags. Like, in this case here with Vshojo, apparently.
But I understand his
But anyway,
opinion.
I just wanted to yap about this a bit. That's about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I see his point. It really depends on the agency, like, and how much they give you. Cause there's just a lot of people who want to be VTubers, but they don't have like the money to make a model. And some models are really cheap, but like, sometimes a model can really get you places. Like, if it goes viral about how like amazing your model is, then like, it just depends. It really depends. It's just there's a lot. There's a lot to think about. It really depends on what you want as a VTuber. Okay. This is his next video. Same guy. His next video. His next, like, after more things happened.
I wanted to wait for Vshojo's response before giving an update to this whole story, but with the way things have developed over the last 24 hours here, I'm not confident we'll ever get a response from them, because I don't think there's going to be anyone left at the company for that.
Well, we did get a response, though. I guess it's like before the response, because the response I think was today, and this video was like a day ago, so yeah.
It's been a complete collapse of this company, and it is still radio silence from Vshojo here, and I've just got to give you this update because it is crazy what's happened. In a nutshell, Vshojo was, I'm going to use past tense because this shit is in the dirt right now. It has been fucking blasted.
He predicted the future.
Vshojo was an agency that represented some of the biggest VTubers in the space, especially in the English-speaking VTuber space, which is a huge market. These creators pull in thousands of viewers every single stream and are responsible for millions of dollars being generated to the Vshojo company. And what's happened recently is tons of that talent had been leaving Vshojo, and yesterday Iron Mouse made a video that really opened Pandora's box here to the scumminess of Vshojo, where she explains why she is also leaving, and it's because they owe her a significant amount of money personally, but they also owe over $500,000 to charity that Iron Mouse raised for charity that Vshojo was supposed to be responsible for donating on her behalf, something they still haven't done a year later, but I'm sure it's coming any day now. There's just been a big clog at the office, but they're very excited to get to it. And other creators under the VTuber agency have come forward with similar horror stories here about the way that they handled finances, where some of them also are owed a significant amount of money that they haven't been paid. So it seems like Vshojo treats payment to their talent the same way I treat changing the oil in my car. I'll get to it eventually. It's not that big a deal. Just keep kicking the can down the road, and eventually my fucking car is just going to break down, and I'm going to be tight. I'm going to be real mad. And much like what's going to happen to my car because I just keep procrastinating the oil change, this company has completely broken down now.
Ooh.
From everything I've seen, every VTuber that was represented by Vshojo, all of the ones I can find, have either already packed their bags and left or announced that they are leaving. I have yet to find a single person that's like digging their heels into the ground, lat spreading and saying, I'm staying with Vshojo, baby. I'm keeping here. This is my ship, and I'm sailing with the crew. I have not found a single VTuber that is standing by them, because it's a pretty indefensible thing that they are accused of here, and they haven't shed any light on their side of things yet, which, admittedly, it has been a pretty short period of time, but with so many people having similar encounters and similar stories about Vshojo, it feels very unlikely that there's any wiggle room for some kind of justified reason why they've been withholding payments and not donating what they owe to charity. It feels like it's kind of, checkmate here. I don't think a response would save them in any way, but I mean, maybe they could shed some crazy light here on, like, what's going on and why. I don't really know, but no one's even waiting for that because of how diabolical it is. And if you go to their website right now and, like, try and buy merch, it's just taken offline. Like, you can't even do that anymore. So it really seems like this company is fucked. It reminds me of from Call of Duty 4. 50,000 VTubers used to create here. Now it's a ghost town, and it's Vshojo's office. Real quick though, I want to give you a bit of good news that's come from all of this. Iron Mouse did a Tiltify link in the description, and that's been shared a lot from a lot of people that want to support, because the charity that she was raising money for never saw the money that she earned for them. And since this blew up, the Tiltify link has exploded, and over $600,000 is being donated to the Immune Deficiency Foundation.
Now $1 million.
Which I think is very, very nice. I think that is great. So at least
more
something
than $1 million
positive has come from this. But overall, it's just like a really sad set of circumstances because of how many people are now going to be out of a job, because I don't see how Vshojo has some kind of triumphant bounce back, like a phoenix rising from the ashes here. Because it's not even ashes, it's actually just like feces. Like it'd be like, the swamp monster rising from my septic tank. There is really nothing they could do to ever get their reputation back, unless somehow all of them are lying, which I just don't think is possible. I don't think that's
that'd
the
be
case.
Crazy.
I want to show you another VTuber that actually confronted the CEO of Vshojo's Japan branch live on stream about how she was also not getting the payments she was owed for quite some time.
First of all, I was already planning to leave Vshojo this
Really?
month. Specifically, on the 31st. Because Vshojo hasn't paid a significant amount of money.
Oh my god.
To me too.
っていうところはあったんですけれども、
The JP
her. But they didn't.
Yeah, that's
could've done it.
weird.
But we decided not to. What? Big whoop. You want to fight about it? So what? So as I understand it, he is saying that while they were thriving, they could have afforded to pay her what she was owed, but from what I've gathered, their hands were kind of tied because the English branch was struggling when it comes to their finances, which apparently caused a disconnect here where they couldn't pay the talent in the Japan branch because the goobers on the English side of things were floundering. That's my understanding of it from everything I've read about all of this. But either way, the brass tacks of it is a lot of talent wasn't getting paid, allegedly. And as you just saw, she quit right to his face.
Yeah.
Just actually said, I'm fucking out. Where's my money? Put it right here. Set this shit in my hand. Put the money in my hand right now, or I'm leaving. Okay, I can't help but notice there's here. I'm out. So she left, and literally every VTuber I can find that was with Vshojo has also left. This was a speedrun corpo death here.
Yeah.
This was a snowball
80%.
that turned into an avalanche that turned into a fucking meteor that blasted Vshojo's headquarters and annihilated them like the dinosaurs.
Oh my god.
It went fast. It really reminds me of a classic blunder in the corporate world online with artesian builds. Anyone remember artesian builds?
I don't know what that one is.
They were kind of like the top dog when it came to system integrators online. Well, one of the top
don't know what
dogs.
that
They
is
were
either.
a huge player. Tens of millions of dollars worth of like revenue. And then one stream, the CEO let his mask slip a little too much, and he showed that he was a douchebag. I'm talking turbo Redditor loser douchebag. Insufferable.
Redditor?
They were doing a giveaway. The giveaway winner was a smaller streamer, and for some reason he stuck up their nose at them, insulting them, making a big stink about it, like, oh, you're just way too small. Yikes. Ooh, look who just won this giveaway. A fucking plebeian? Ooh, yucky. Pew.
Ew.
2K followers is under my threshold. 3 days ago is within my threshold. Long streams, which is good. An artesian build, div panel.
Huh?
See if you have redeeming qualities.
What happened if he's personally bought 10 PCs?
She
I guess
could be international.
Watching that clip back still makes my skin crawl.
I didn't
It is
understand a
so
word.
Cringe. It is awful. Even saying like, let's see if you have any redeeming qualities. Oh my
Wait,
god.
what? That's what he said?
But this clip
I didn't
is
understand it.
infamous. It sank the whole
Oh
company.
my God.
That moment was the stake driven through the vampire's heart. It killed artesian builds overnight. Everybody
Whoa.
left that company, obviously myself included, and it died.
Oh, he was in the company
that
too?
day. The same phenomenon has just now happened to Vshojo. Within 24 hours, everyone seems to have left this agency. I don't think there's any chance for it to make some kind of miraculous comeback. Didn't work for artesian builds, and I don't foresee Vshojo having some kind of like silver bullet here, some kind of ace up their sleeve that would like save them in any capacity, because now too many people are aware that they're not a good company. There were things that were very wrong with this organization, and some of the talent that people love, some of their most beloved creators, were mistreated by them and misled by them. And I certainly didn't expect it to be this quick. Knowing what I know about VTuber agencies, their contracts are more like hostage negotiations than they are like partnership agreements. I thought for sure Vshojo would have clauses in there that would prevent people from just leaving like this and then like, you know, publicly insulting them and divulging information about why like this. But I'm happy I was wrong here and that the talent does have the freedom to both keep their IP and explain why they're leaving and leave when they want.
True.
That's very nice that they weren't locked down, like shackled to Vshojo, where they could like shut them up and like try and control the narrative. As I said in the last video, Vshojo is one of the very few VTuber agencies that I wasn't super privy to the behind the scenes work and the contracts that they do. So I guess the claim was right about freedom, where they do actually have like pretty breathable contracts that is allowing them to just leave like this. That is a good thing.
I
bet
guess so,
they're
yeah,
pretty
right.
upset about it. They're probably feeling very sore, not trying to lock them down and like prevent bad-mouthing the company and poo-pooing on Vshojo on the way out, like many other VTuber agencies have built into their contracts. Again, not going to get too deep into the specifics, but this is something you probably won't see happen to any other VTuber agency. So I guess it really was true that they did have pretty breathable contracts. And it's nice to see that the talent is using that freedom to let their voices be heard and not want to associate with a company that they don't support anymore for some very scummy practices. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a little update to this because this was pretty shocking to see how quickly it all just collapsed for Vshojo.
It was
this
so
was a company
fast.
that was worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. They have like 4 of the top 10 English-speaking VTubers under their umbrella. Now they have nothing. It's pretty crazy. And it's not like it was all because of Iron Mouse. Iron Mouse was just like the lightning rod that allowed other content creators to feel confident enough to share their stories as well, and it became very clear that Vshojo wasn't a company that most people wanted to associate with. Anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.
It's crazy. Everybody wanted to associate with Vshojo because Vshojo was the English VTubing place, besides like, you know, other ones like Hololive. But like Vshojo was like the place, like one of the, if not like maybe the first or the second like place that everyone wanted to go to as a VTuber, because it's like it's heaven on earth. And it was never true. Maybe at first, but not anymore, I guess, at some point. And nobody knew what was happening. That's so sad. Alright, I got one from Connor, and you know Connor. This is the best friends of Iron Mouse, so he knows basically everything, because Iron Mouse and him, they're besties, they trust each other. He like, Iron Mouse probably told him literally everything, but he can't say everything because they're going to the whole law thing, they're gonna go to court and shit, so he can't say everything. But we can like learn a little bit more from Connor, because he, even though he's like just angry, but he's like at least says, you know, from his point of view, I think it's an important point of view, you know? I think it's an important point of view. So let's see what he's got to say.
Is, I don't know, I'll talk about it a bit, you know, we'll get over it. We'll move on.
It's kind of quiet.
Maybe we'll play a short game later on. I'm not going to stream crazy today, obviously. But yeah, no, I mean, like, look, it's a shit show. It is a shit show through and through. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to close chat, because I think chat distracts me.
Oh.
I think the best way to kind of handle it is to...
He's going to go real hard. He's going to go real.
Have a little bit of a chat about what I can say right now, because obviously, you know, like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot that can be said, a lot that can't be said, for obvious reasons. You know, this is all kind of new, but I think I'll talk a little bit about my...
That is the biggest plushie I've ever seen in the background.
We can maybe talk about the business of running an agency, about what that looks like, and then we can get into my final section, which will be my personal thoughts. I'm pretty angry, as you can probably guess. It does feel weird streaming right now, and I've not got chat up, but I think I don't want to look at chat, because I want to kind of just talk and give you my own thoughts about it, and kind of go into it. And I think, first of all, the really important thing to keep in mind right now as a viewer, because I'm sure you're all very confused, and you all have a lot that you want answered. You want to understand how this happened, what is happening, the full breadth of all of it, and it sucks. But the sad truth is that we have to like wait for everything to kind of unfold.
Yeah, we have to
wait for everything to unravel. And obviously the fact that you guys are even hearing about this now means that a lot of things have gone wrong up until this point, right? Like, I know this is all brand new news to all of you guys, but I think what we need to keep in mind is that if it is brand new to you guys, this has been simmering and cooking for a hot minute. So keep that in mind. This is unfortunately a very slow and unsatisfying process, and everyone right now is going to try and get their get their like thoughts in. We live in a time where you get paid to hold people's attention, so everyone's going to be saying a lot of things and making their own thoughts on it.
Bonjour, Connor. Chat and
I should probably turn this off for now.
Also, welcome new chatters.
So where was I? What was I saying? Sorry, Unk is done. Unk is done. Unk is done. Right.
Connor has a lawyer
so
background, really?
There's a it's a bombshell right now. It's a lot to take in because I feel like people cared an awful lot about this thing, and the thing isn't there. And a lot of people also just are curious what's going on. A lot of people who've never even heard of VTubing or Vshojo want to know what's going on. So there's a lot of people who are trying to get anything. And unfortunately, all the information that is available now is majoritively from Mouse's statement. And unfortunately, there won't be any more information for a while, obviously things need to go underway. Hopefully you guys don't have to wait too long. But just keep that in mind, that there are a lot of people out there that want to make their quick buck from this, and they'll be saying whatever the fuck and all this stuff, and just know that unfortunately you just have to wait, It does suck. It really sucks, because everyone deserves answers. This is a pretty, it's very serious what's being accused, obviously, because it is not drama. It is literally a crime.
A crime,
this is like a genuine crime. This is not like YouTube drama, he said, she said, like some serious shit. And obviously, in Mouse's video, Mouse mentions that, she is owed money as well, and that's just what we know from Mouse, is that that's being claimed. So it's some pretty hefty allegations be handled. So that's why, I'm also going to make sure that I handle this in the proper way, even though I am fucking angry. So I'm sorry, you're not going to get, the scoop from me, and I'm not going to give you any more information, private information about it. If you're expecting that, that's not what you're going to get. Because, I'm obviously got to wait for Mouse to handle this. And then
we have to wait for Mouse, yeah.
So you're not going to get any of that from
me.
But we can talk a bit more about, we do know what's public, and then we'll get into my overall thoughts on this whole mess. Now, I know this is a bit of a tangent, but I think it's really important. I think it's really important to quickly talk about the business of running a fucking agency. I think it would be fun to tell you guys roughly about how this all works, because I think it's interesting.
We're gonna learn how to run an agency.
Us understand better what might have happened and what might have gone on a bit here. As somebody who has been a YouTuber and stuff for a very long time, we can talk about roughly what happened. So let's say you have company. Okay, why do I have white? Also, let me kill the music. I'm gonna kill the music. Not the MS Paint. We're doing the MS Paint. We're doing it. My thing is not very good. Let's say you have a company and it's called Sea Dog.
Sea Dog.
No, very fundamentally, I think we all easily understand this concept. For a business to work, the money that goes in, right, needs to be bigger than money go out. That's a pretty simple,
True, makes sense.
It's a pretty easy understanding of business, right? Okay, and then you hear someone in chat goes, well, actually, it does actually change, because now we have these genius people in the great place of San Francisco who had this genius model that was what if money that goes in is just nothing, and money that goes out money that goes in is big investor money. Company has to make fuck all. Hundreds of millions, just keep shoveling it in. There's not but generally speaking, money needs to come in at a bigger amount than money goes out. Very simple, very, very simple. Now from my Sea Dog agency, there are a couple of ways that I could make some money from talent. So let's say I want to start, I have my amazing talents here, and then there's some revenue that I can get. So I could take it from, let's say if they're a YouTuber like me, and I want to take money from myself, because I'm the top talent at Sea Dog Corp. Bro thinks he's pirate, so okay, no, that never worked at Blizzard. All right, so you could take it from ad revenue. This is a common way that company. Okay, my handwriting is not very good. This is your Twitch money. This is your YouTube ad revenue. Money that you get from just kind of doing your YouTuber things, and there's not really a money number that's agreed on, right? So 1 month you could make I don't know, like $1,000 from this, right? And then there's also sponsorships, which you've seen me do plenty of time. Lord knows I've promoted some games that maybe I, but look, that's fine, because you know what? Sea-Dog Corp just got $2,000. Nice. Okay, nice. There's also merch. We can sell merch. We can sell the merch from seadogva.com where you can get it. And the company will typically, they'll help our top talent, Sea-Dog. They'll help him make some merch, and we'll take a cut. So we'll get like 500. This is nice. Now we've got some cash flow. There is also other miscellaneous stuff that you can make money from, but this will always be like the big three. Like you can make money from like convention appearances, licensing. Like if Mouse wanted to, like release, I don't know, a pickaxe. You can make the Mouse pickaxe. It's like 5,000. I did 5,000, right? So like, there's loads of different ways, but these tend to be like the big ways that you make money, right? Generally speaking, like the normal amount that a talent agency will take is like 10 to 25, but normally 20% of the talent's like revenue, like cut. But they might not take it from everything, right? But you need to take something, because otherwise, you don't have a lot of money coming in. So let's say we're taking 10% of all of this. All right, we've got, so let's say Sea-Dog Corp's taking 10%, right? This is not a very, this is already getting messy. Let's just, can I get a bigger eraser? Why is it default so small? This is tiny. What the fuck is this? This is such an unhelpful eraser. So let's say Sea-Dog Corp is taking 10%. And right now we have $8,000, so they're taking $800. Why is this small now? What is this? Okay,
I don't think he knows how to use.
We're taking a whopping $800 a month. Now,
use this program.
What you might have realized very quickly is that it's actually like not a whole lot of money. That's not a whole lot of money for Sea-Dog to pay, well, me, the employee, right? Like, what's the average salary of someone who lives in the US, right? Like it'd be, I don't know, like, what is it, like $4,000, $5,000? And obviously for talent agencies, like, let's say the average salary is like $5,000. Yeah, and if it's San Fran, boy, you better be prepared to double it. So basically what needs to happen is that, like, if a talent's on 10%, which is quite generous, I'd say it's normally 15 to 20 normally, is that they need to somehow find, and let's just say you have just one manager, they need to find $5,000 of money here, like, per month, right? And they're only taking 10 to 20%. So they're like, the money in this is like, it's either like really good or really bad. So this is why when you hear about a lot of talent agencies that are small, you never really hear about like mid-sized talent agencies, because it's kind of really hard to exist in this middle ground, where if you're like a creator or something, there's not a whole lot of money that you can make to pay staff, because there's not just like one staff. You're probably paying like 2 or 3 staff, right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of money that needs to be generated.
He's confusing you. Yeah, honestly,
I know that 5K is low, and I know that
I'm trying to pretend I understand.
But just stay with me. So this is why, for a long time, talent agencies have been kind of like dominated by the really, really big dogs. Because, if you sign like one contract with like Katy Perry, right? Like Katy Perry or Caitlyn Jenner does a Pepsi deal, and it's gonna go great. And the Pepsi deal might be worth like $5 million. Suddenly, $5 million, if we're taking 10% of $5 million, holy moly, we're in it. Now we're cooking. Now we're making some fucking money in this business. You know what I mean? We're making some big bucks. So that traditionally talent agencies have kind of been pretty like top heavy, and there's a lot of big companies that kind of control the space. And there's not a lot of small companies, which is why when you've probably seen a couple of like really small agencies that exist. And the main way that they like stay afloat is by just having like 0 running costs. So they don't have many staff. Like it might be like the CEO is the one who does pretty much all the deals and stuff like that. So like there's a massive imbalance, and there's not really like a solid way for like a mid-sized agency to exist. This is all being said, and I want to keep this in mind. And the whole point of this was that like, and I'm not trying to like, say judge how a business was ran, but the problem is if you're kind of not taking any of this money, you kind of don't have a business, It's kind of, you kind of don't have anything. I think it's important to take that, and a lot of stuff was public, and so, you can kind of figure out what might have been going wrong. And on top of that, like, sticking to pure factual public statement knowledge that, stuff that like, that would be available to you to know, is that like, something Vshojo owes the Immunity Foundation a lot of money, $500,000. And they've, you know, in Mouse video as well, Mouse has also owed money. I'm just like curious, how did that happen? Because from my perspective, you know, I feel like it should have been pretty easy. I mean, you know, this is an article from like 3 years ago. Is that like, just saying, an interesting article.
Oh.
That's it. I'm just gonna leave it there. And also, I was curious because I saw this
Wait,
tweet.
let me see. Vshojo talent agency focused on avatar live streaming raises 100 million. Okay.
That someone posted. I saw this tweet where someone posted that, remember when Vshojo plastered this all over the Tokyo subway to brag about how well they treated their talents? I was thinking about this, and I was like, I know that station. That's fucking Shinjuku Station. I go through that all the time. And I was wondering, I was like, how much does it cost to get that? Because you know, personally, in my opinion, it would be nice if instead of advertising, we could, you know, perhaps put that money towards the immunity. And so I actually found the exact costs of how much it costs to do this. Fun fact. Yeah, here they are.
Oh. How much is it?
It's a lot of money. So this is one of the
is it?
ways that you get it. There's also this piece of information here, and I'll let you explain how much this costs. So what this says in Japanese is right here. This says that for one of those pillars for 7 days, if I'm not mistaken, it'll cost 40 million yen, which is about $250,000. For one, if you want to take over the whole thing, it would cost 200 million yen, which is, if I'm not mistaken, it's a fuck ton. It is a fuck ton, okay? It's like an insane amount of money, and that's to get all those pillars. For 7 days of advertising. And obviously, like, look, I'm not here to tell a business how to run their company. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck. But, well, I mean, I do give a fuck. That is a lie. I do give a fuck, actually. I give quite a lot of fucks. One thing that, you know, leaves the question in my mind, as somebody who would like the charity to get paid, is why is there the need to advertise an English talent agency on a Japanese subway?
Point.
Just a genuine like thought that I would love to know what happened. Like I had to imagine that there was, I don't know. I'm not no imagining, no step. so depressing. And like, you know, obviously found out about this quite a while ago. You know, I'd been concerned for quite some time about
it's been a
certain
while.
things. And so, you know, was pushing quite heavily. And so I'm glad that, you know, Mouse was able to get answers. Obviously, it was like not great answers.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, can you imagine that like you've put so much of like your life and so much of like your effort and everything that you hold dear and everything that you care about into something, and someone else is like, whoops, forgot about that. You know? Oh, I was supposed to do that. I'm okay. I don't think I'll do it. And then you can't even get like a good answer as to what the fuck is going on. Yeah, it's just I'm like dumbfounded. So, you know, and I'm glad that that now it's out and that we can hopefully start figuring out what the next steps are. Obviously, the it's just so shit, man. It's so shit. So one thing that I was like, you know, we should do this is that we should talk to the Immunodeficiency Foundation and kind of explain what, you know, what's about what's going on.
Talk to
man, that is like, if you think you've ever had to fucking break bad news to people in your life, dude. I mean, I normally don't like get upset or cry about things, but like, man, like having to deal with that was just like so ridiculous. Because, you know, me and Mouse have both spent so much of our online time and the work that I do here, and the work that Mouse does, like advocacy for the Immunodeficiency Foundation. And, you know, I genuinely see all the immunodeficiency people like family. Like we have calls with them every month. We walk through what they're doing. we hear about Iron Mouse, and we're so lucky that we hear about Mouse's story and Mouse's journey. And then I get so fucking
Without
sad
them, we wouldn't
that
even
I think
have
like,
Iron
damn,
Mouse.
it could have ended so much more differently if there wasn't people who were trying to do the right thing.
She's Puerto Rican,
and that makes
like
me really fucking
me.
angry. So yeah, that's really tough.
And I relate to her a lot.
But
even though
I think it's been great to see.
Even though I don't have her health condition, like I don't think it's as bad as hers at all. I don't think it's barely comparable. I still look up to her a lot because I do have like a shitty ass health condition, and the fact that she's able to power through it means that I definitely can too, you know? Like, I really look up to her.
See the support the Mouse has gotten so far. And, you know, when I was talking to Mouse, and Mouse obviously extremely nervous about doing this. Releasing this, obviously, as this is like such a difficult thing to do. And Mouse is not a drama person. Mouse is not a confrontational person. Mouse is not the type of person who would get into this. Mouse would do everything in her power to not let it get to this point. And so to see it kind of like get there and just watching Mouse being like torn apart by this was yeah, made me really, really fucking angry. And I really, really hope that the people who are responsible for this, I hope that they're held accountable and that there is some form of justice. Other than that, it has been amazing to see like just how much support there's been for the charity and for Mouse, because I think that I'm really happy that everyone has kind of taken to Mouse and the charity here, and like already like so far, like as I'm like talking, it's going up, you know, it's kind of crazy, but like $223,000 raised already. And
bro, this was when it was only 200,000.
Like
now it's
like,
a freaking
so
million.
Cool. And I'm
over a million, like 1,200,000, something like
as
that.
well, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like the level of generosity has been really cool.
I'm so happy for them that it's reached such an insane number.
So much that, like, we work with them so much
I wonder
that you can literally go on their
and
website to
Mouse
read
think
about
right
a
now.
page with us and how we fundraise and how you can get in and get involved. Like there is a page on their website dedicated entirely to the fundraisers that we do.
Wow.
Like and like the impact that, you know, all of you guys have had on people's lives. And like, look, being in like a content creator space and having to raise money for charity, it's a weird situation because people want to know what they're donating to. And the sad reality of like immunocompromised stuff is that it is super not easy to explain. Like it is, for lack of better words, it's not a sexy disease. Like, because like it is so hard to fully get across what it is that common variable immunodeficiency is, right? Like even saying it sounds like I get like explaining to someone like, hi, primary immune deficiency
is a long title
is a situation where sometimes your immune system just doesn't work. But wait, there's 450 different versions of it, and there's some people are only affected with like super individual cases. Like it's such a complex disease to talk about and to fundraise for. And I'm so glad that like people are willing to listen and to hear out when me and Mouse are always talking about it. And so that makes me really happy. Yeah, 450 that we know of. Sorry, but it's terrifying. Like it's a really like fucking horrible disease because basically you could live your whole life thinking, damn, I'm healthy, and then suddenly when you start to get like, you know, older, maybe 25, unk status, maybe you just start getting sick, and maybe you're getting pneumonia, which you've never gotten before, and maybe you're getting that sinus infection that's lasting a lot longer and happening a bit more often than it was before, and the doctor's always like, well, you should try this, you should try this, you should try this, because the doctors themselves don't even know about it. A lot of doctors are not educated in primary immune deficiency, which is why a lot of the money also goes towards helping further train doctors, helping give them more information, because they're like, it's scary to think as somebody who might be sick that my doctor might just have no idea what the fuck is wrong with me. And the fact that you'd have to live with that and your quality of life will just keep getting worse and worse while you're being...
Yeah, for me, I never went to a doctor until it got so bad that they immediately diagnosed me. They immediately knew what it was.
Given medication and treatment for stuff that is not the problem. it's like super demoralizing, super draining, and like a horrible.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Life,
you could be years trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with you.
It's why that there is such a massive need for just education.
That makes me wonder, because like sometimes I hear about like people on the internet like, man, I got sick again, man, I got sick again, man, I got sick again. I wonder if like they have an like they don't even realize they might have like an immunity issue. And I guess it makes me pretty happy that, like, I don't know, my immune system works so well because I never get sick. Except that one time I got dengue. That was a freaking mosquito, so.
Educating people and talking about it, which is why, with all this stuff, I want to make sure that we all learn a bit more about the charity and the disease, because it's such an important part. That is like half the battle with raising money and raising awareness to get research. You can't raise more money without people knowing about it, and you can't fix the disease until there's a lot of money and help people have better quality of lives. But like, imagine it, like you suddenly start getting sick, you don't know what the fuck is going on, suddenly you can't be around your friends, your family, and if you do want to be around your friends and family, they have to quarantine for days at a time. It's like terrifying. Like, it's genuinely such a horrific and lonely experience to have to go through that. Like,
oh wait, diabetes is an autoimmune disease too? I didn't actually realize that was one of them. It also opens you to other critical conditions. Oh shit. So I guess diabetes is one of them then. I didn't know that. That's cool. I mean, not cool, but it's like fascinating. Okay. You
like mentally are like completely fine, but suddenly now you're isolated, you can't talk to anyone, you suddenly keep getting sicker and sicker. It's awful.
Yeah,
it's a really horrible disease. And you know, the fact that like Mouse is able to stream and do what Mouse does,
yeah,
with all of that is insane. Like, Mouse is like a superhero, man. Like, I when I get mildly sick, I'm like, better take 3 days off. You know. Meanwhile, Mouse is like in her pukeathon, in her subathon,
oh, yeah,
puking all the time, and then coming back to stream like nothing happened. It's crazy. Like, I can't do that shit. Pukeathon next.
Oh no, oh, no! I do not want to see that.
It's like crazy, you know. It's
she's a real
there's a lot
soldier,
to admire,
yeah.
I think, about Mouse, and to be proud.
The fact she has to get used to that, and then
so
like
it's
like an everyday normal thing for her. It's just nah, bruh. So, like,
yeah, I'm just mad. I'm just so
hell
mad.
No.
But
I don't want her to go through that.
It has been really cool, kind of seeing so far everyone kind of coming together, everyone kind of trying to raise money for charity, everyone, you know, taking this really horrific mess and making it into something good. And I really do hope that publicly you guys don't have to wait long to
yeah, bro. If there's somebody you gotta be proud of, like, holy shit, it's Iron Mouse.
I think everyone wants answers. I think we all want answers.
She's the number one fighter.
How can you fuck this up so much? I fucking wish. I wish Mouse was able to go like Hail Mary and just tell you guys everything. But we have to wait. We have to be patient.
Gotta be patient.
You know, lawyer's got a lawyer. Although I was talking to another lawyer about this because I was also curious. I was asking him like his thoughts on the situation, you know, and I said I was like, nah, fuck it, we ball. Let's get that lawsuit. Let's go crazy. I was like, what are they gonna do? Sue the talent? That's crazy. Because I feel like, okay, it's like if you as a talent agency sued your talent, that no talent would ever join your company ever again. And at that point, like, what are you suing for? You're suing to like pay off the debt you owe to that talent. You know what I mean? Like,
right? Yeah, that's true.
This is like Disney. If Disney tried to sue Mickey Mouse, it's ridiculous. But you know, the lawyers are funny, and law thing needs to be done. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So that's about really it. Funny. That's all I have. That I don't have much else to say other than I'm angry. I'm disappointed. It's not hard to, you know, pay money that you owe. It's about it. It's really not that difficult. It's not your money. Don't you know? Don't fuck with it.
Yeah. Disney tries to sue Mickey Mouse. Oh my god. Yeah, it is as ridiculous as that. Oh my god. I had a hard a hard time getting an IRNR while I was on warfarin. Is that a med? Needles becoming normal can be a huge issue because your livelihood depends on it. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Don't mess with the mouse! Okay, we got another video here, though. This one, bro, this is about the law. So this is by the guy... Wait. I can't see his name. Okay, so this is Legal Mindset. He's really famous, especially amongst VTubers, because he talks about the law. So like if an agency or if a VTuber did something bad or dangerous, like he talks about the law of like what could possibly happen. Like if this is what's happening, then this is the law they broke. If this is what's happening, then they could go to jail, or they might have to sue, or they should sue, or la 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 la. So this guy is like really good at that stuff. Like he's really entertaining to watch for like that kind of stuff. So I think this is really useful to know. We gotta know, is Vshojo going to jail? Yes or no? Like this is what's gonna happen.
The revelations by Iron Mouse and many other of the talents at Vshojo may very well end that VTubing company. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. This is an insane saga that really, it even peaks perhaps what is going down and what went down last year with Doki Bird and with Niji Sanji, insofar as this is looking like it will end this VTubing company, Vshojo, completely.
Ooh,
and
he knew.
Massive pool of talent that is looking to exodus from that company. Now, just understand this is a fast facts pre-recorded video, but I recorded this after listening to Case on stream, where she was interviewing with the Japanese brand.
I saw that one
about that CEO. So we're going to go through all the facts today and really stick to the legal analysis. If you want to see the full version where I'm doing more, playing more video, I play all of
Better Call Legal Mindset,
and I play some other stuff as well. You check out my live version, but this is the abbreviated version for those that want to get just down to the facts. And of course, I've got a PowerPoint. So
he's ready.
With this case, obviously, it all started with the mouse. And there are two clear things that she dropped in her message that are legally relevant. First is that she has not been paid wages. So she's owed back wages. She's not been paid for a long time. And these payments that she's owed are in delinquency. They've been owed to her for a long time. She hasn't been paid.
Delinquency.
And this is something that has been mirrored by other talents. We now have talents such as Kaysan coming out and saying, I have not been paid for a long time. In fact, I believe she said September of last year.
That's
very,
nuts.
very long time without payments, which is severe, which is significant. So there is an extended period of time with which people have not paid out to the talents. That's a massive, massive problem in and of itself. But the other great problem, and the problem that can have huge criminal liability, is the potential fraud related to the charity, related to the Immune Deficiency Foundation that Iron Mouse has always been so vocal for, because it's the cause that represents research that would help people like her and give them a brighter future and hope. And it really was something that she was so invested in. And they decided to take $500,000 and not pay that out to charity. Whatever they did with that, it was not paid to charity. And that is a massive, massive issue. And that's an issue that can see people behind bars, that can have criminal penalties. Absolutely. Once again, these are our allegations at this point, but based on the number of talents speaking up, based on the number of talents that have removed the Vshojo branding, we have to, at this point, assume there is some sort of substance behind these allegations. Of course, they are going to have to fight these out. They are going to have to prove this in court or prove this through the regulatory process. However, at this point, going forward and through the scope of this video, understand that I am taking the allegations as credible. For whatever argument you may make of they're not proven yet, whatever, I understand you, but we're going to take them as credible for the purpose of this analysis. So let's continue here. So we had obviously Iron Mouse speak up, and then we had Kaysan get on with the JP CEO. Now this was very enlightening and actually gives us more of the business side of what is going on at Vshojo. It's very clear from this that Vshojo is in financial hot water, that they were not profitable. And whatever the distinction was between JP and US, it's very important to note that there was no official legal distinction. That is an internal distinction, the same as a department, for example, saying HR or whatever else, right? Or janitorial staff. It's an internal distinction. It still fell under the control and is the legal responsibility of the headquarters in San Francisco. So the JP branch, as much as that might be a certain amount of talents that was managed by this quote unquote CEO, was not distinguished financially. So those funds that were coming in were being slushed together. So whatever profit JP was making was not offsetting clearly the losses they were taking on the US side or with their other talents. So as a whole, it seems they were in financial dire straits. Now, one big thing that was brought up during this was that the staff was paid and not the talent. There is a very important reason for that, which we're going to get into, which is all of the talents are designated, and this is for almost all VTubing companies. I have not seen one contract, and I've reviewed all of them, including the Vshojo contract. Niji Sanji, HoloLive, Vactor, all the greatest hits from big to small, Face Connect. I've seen all of them. I haven't seen a single contract that has said these people are employees. We consider them employees. They all try to make them independent contractors. That's
right.
very
I've heard
important,
that. Yeah.
because when it comes to fighting wages and paying wages, you have to pay employees under labor law, whether it's U.S. law, Japanese law, really all around the world. You've got to pay out those wages. But when it comes to independent contractors, well, you can shaft them, and then they've got to come and sue you or bring an action against you or a claim against you to try to get those back. It puts a massive burden on them to claim those amounts of money. Now, I have, since the Niji Sanji crisis, been screaming from the top of the hills that this is BS. And I'll put some money in the swear jar for that one. These people are employees. Whether you consider them full-time or part-time employees, they are under the control and authority of these VTubing companies. Now, I understand that there's
I have thought about this before. It's like, why are they contract, what was it again? Contractors? I forgot the word. Why are they why are like in an agency considered contractors if they're practically an employee? Like everything they do is very employee like. It doesn't make sense. Like you don't just contract them for a short amount of time, like a month, and then okay, bye, thanks for your job, you know. It's like a whole year. It's an employee. Like it I agree with him. That is very strange. Oh yeah, independent contractors. It doesn't make any sense. I have thought of this before. It's gone through my ear, one ear out the other once.
there was a lot more anonymity at Vshojo than other companies, but you might consider them in that case more like a part-time employee than a full-time employee. That's
at least a part-time, exactly.
And in that case, they would still be owed wages under a normal analysis. And mind you, just because a contract says that you are an independent contractor does not mean that a particular state or country might not look at the situation, might not look at all the factors and say, under our law, we're going to consider them an employee. It's very important. And I do think in the VTubing industry going forward, this is a massive lesson that all VTubing talent should be considered employees. They should push for being
100%.
employees. They should say, no, I'm an employee if I'm going to work for your company because you need to pay me and you need to be liable if you do not pay me. And I don't think the Japanese CEO, listening to him, is the villain here. He's clearly not at the top of the rung. He's not the CEO or CFO or COO or CTO. He's at a lower rung of responsibility. He certainly cannot make shots for the entire company. That was not his responsibility. And certainly, by the way, none of the talents are liable for this. This is something where they are the victims, and they do deserve your support and your appreciation. And I will say this about all of them: Iron Mouse, Keisan, Henya, everybody, Michibuchivi, everybody. They do deserve your support and love in this time, and also your understanding that they can't say the things that I can say because they're under a different level of scrutiny. Now, I do hope with some right legal maneuvers, they can finally speak up. And we're going to talk about that today in the way they may be able to speak up. But right now, understand and be patient with them. They need to work with their lawyers in their jurisdiction or in perhaps California, which is a jurisdiction for Vshojo, where I think is very ripe to bring suits and claims, etc. They need to work with their own lawyers to get this done. So be patient with them to get to that point where they will be able to speak. I do believe that time is going to come sooner than later.
Ooh.
Sooner than later.
Sooner.
So let's
okay.
continue with this. The best quote I think from this is "Talent first, my ass." That was probably the best K-Song quote out there, period. And
oh my God, wait, she
K-Song.
said that. That
Definitely
is so funny.
So one important thing here is that Vshojo is an American company. Now we've covered Niji Sanji, we've covered Cover Corporation, big Japanese corporations. And one issue with those corporations is they're Japanese. And if the talent is American or Canadian or
his last name is Ignacio, he's Latino. Sorry.
Really non-Japanese at all, it's really, really difficult to come at those companies. This is not the problem for Vshojo. Vshojo is an American company, and they're an American company headquartered in one of the states with the most strong consumer protections out there, or strong worker protections, employee protections that are very, very broad out there in all the United States. So this is a massive difference. And especially since many of the talents, particularly Iron Mouse, being a American citizen, right? Puerto Rico, still a citizen of the United States, and still able to bring claims.
I don't think she actually lives in Puerto Rico, though, because Puerto Rico doesn't have that many resources for somebody as sick as her. I feel like she'd have to go to USA, but that's just my assumption. I don't know. That's like I smell that she's not in Puerto Rico. That's all.
Fully able to bring claims in California court, particularly related to labor. This is something where it is ripe for conflict, right? For either a lawsuit, criminal filings, regulatory filings, because they are in America. And this is why I say they are sunk. This is why I say this is not an Niji Sanji situation. This is not an any color. This is not a
like she's Puerto Rican, but like living in the U.S. mainland or something. I feel like, because like she would need so many resources. I just do not think she could survive in Puerto Rico. I don't think she can survive here. Like with the many power outages and the amount of like tech she needs to like she needs oxygen and all kinds of shit. Like I don't think she would survive here. Like she needs to move. I'm pretty sure she moved to the U.S. like mainland to get resources. You know,
Hololive situation, whatever else. And in those situations, with Niji Sanji, I told everybody, hey, when Doki Bird went down, this is not going to be the end of Niji Sanji by any stretch. Same thing when there's bumps in the road with Hololive, right? When Gura leaves, it's not going to be the end of Hololive. However, this will be the end of Vshojo. This is very, very much
is the end. He predicted it.
And because of their financial situation. And mind you, I will point out one other thing. They were founded in 2020. And what was happening in 2020, and I say this as a corporate attorney who was previously working in a law firm related to issuing bonds that were...
I think even if the internet says that she's in Puerto Rico, I think it doesn't know. Like, people don't know because she keeps saying, I'm Puerto Rican, Puerto Rican, Puerto Rican, which is true. Like, you can be Puerto Rican but not live in Puerto Rico, you know? So I think she's not living in Puerto Rico. She just is Puerto Rican, you know? I think the internet just confuses that. I don't think she would be surviving here. I don't think she'd be alive right now if she was in Puerto Rico. Like, still in Puerto Rico.
Used by governments and corporations, and then working in-house and seeing a lot of borrowing and corporate debt. During that period of time, corporations were borrowing at insanely low rates. They were drunk.
Exactly. There's no way she's going to dox herself. She's very private, so I don't think she ever will tell us.
On debt and drunk on almost free money that was under the cost of inflation. So hell, why not? Let's just borrow as much as possible. So I have no doubt that they were highly leveraged going into this, and they were highly hyped up coming off of the kind of everybody's on the internet
somebody slammed my door
era, and thinking
I
that
live with
was
my
going
family.
to continue forever. And their financial projections were perhaps unrealistic, given the fact that that was a temporary period of time that was over, and there was definitely bumps in the VTuber market as a whole, as people no longer had to be online all the time. And so, yes, the VTuber market did not grow as it was projected to grow based on 2020 numbers, or based on 2019 numbers, etc. So I think this number of the founding is actually relevant, and the fact that they are a relatively new company and they're private. So once again, we don't have a lot of the disclosures that we required of a public company. But let's talk about the contract. So I have seen a Vshojo contract. Now, in full disclosure, it was based on a previous contract. It is not anyone active. So it's an older contract. So they may have changed things in the contract. So I'm basing it on what I said.
Yeah.
However, I don't think they've changed certain things. Number one, they do have certain NDA and confidentiality provisions.
Yeah, I'm pretty
based on
sure.
that. I don't think they would have deleted that. I don't think they would have removed that. Those are in the contract. The other most important thing is it does frame them as independent contractors, as non-employees. So that is a super important factor, that they are not called employees, because when you are an employee, you get the protection of labor laws, you get the protection of regulation. All of those things don't necessarily apply to independent contractors. Now, different states handle this differently, different countries handle this differently. If anywhere in the United States is going to handle this differently, it's probably California, which is going to look at that and say, oh,
Yeah,
no, these were
California's
really
got
employees. These really weren't independent contractors. So I think that doesn't exclude it, but it is important for the intent here, because the intent was always to shaft them out of payment, was always to not pay them. So let's continue here. So labor law, we're going to talk about this real quick. So this is about the claims for unpaid wages. And once again, a very important factor here is California, particularly if you're going to file it there, which is where Vshojo is headquartered, they don't have any restrictions as to residency status or et cetera. So you can file a labor claim there. Even the people that are part of the corporation that are non-American might have a potential, if they consult with their attorney, to file claims in California in some way, shape, or fashion. Once again, I do believe all the girls that I've heard of, as particularly Iron Mouse, have competent lawyers, and they should listen to their lawyers. Obviously, listen to their lawyers over anything I say.
Of course.
This is more education for the public and education for people in general. But I do believe there's a possibility for them to make claims in California, and that would be huge for them.
Wow.
That would open the door to so much. So even if you have a contract, that's not going to prevent you from claiming, hey, you need to pay me these wages, right? Or reporting criminal activity. So reporting, hey, they didn't give this money to charity and we knew it. And we saw it, we knew it, we have testimony, we'll be witnesses against this. We'll go to the federal or state criminal cases for these people. They can still testify to that. There's nothing stopping them. The NDA is not going to stop them. Nothing is preventing them from reporting that crime. In fact, if they try to retaliate for that, Vshojo would be punished. You cannot try to retaliate against somebody for reporting a crime. That's not okay anywhere in the U.S. and in most countries.
Oh, anywhere in the So
the process for this would be to gather documentation and witnesses, which they're probably doing right now. Their lawyers,
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
particularly Iron Mouse, is probably gathering a lot of documentation, getting witnesses together, and then you'd report it to the labor commissioner. In this case, probably the labor commissioner of California. And after that, there's a required mediation. Now, this might be what why they're saying wait. Why Iron Mouse said in her video, hey, we need to get to a certain part of the legal process. It might be because they want to go to that mediation, see if they can get a settlement, see if Vshojo can make this right. Otherwise, if that fails, there's going to be a civil lawsuit. They can bring a civil lawsuit, in which case we'd all get that information. It'd be public information. We'd be able to talk about it. We'd be able to see everything that's going on.
Okay.
It would be a nightmare for them from Vshojo if they aren't already bankrupt, which we'll eventually touch on that topic.
Oh, shit.
So then we got the silencing the mouse, and as well as the other talent. There are laws that prevent retaliation against employees reporting unlawful acts. You've probably heard of whistleblower protections. That's a whistleblower.
Nice.
Iron Mouse is a whistleblower saying there is something illegal going on here, i.e. taking money that's supposed to go to charity.
All of them are basically
or whatever
whistleblowers
else,
now.
or fraudulent transfer. Like that can be reported, and there's no way you can retaliate against that. Also, there's another California law that's passed that arguably could prevent NDAs from silencing the employees in regards to reporting bad workplace behavior. So saying, hey, we're not being paid and they took this money from charity. The California law is pretty clear that the NDA cannot stop them from saying that. Now, there are other things that they could argue the NDA could stop them from talking about, stuff like personal relationships or personal interactions, maybe for now, but that NDA is not going to silence them from speaking out on what is clearly illegal. Further, aside from whistleblower protections, you can't stop the reporting of crime. I cannot say that enough. Reporting a crime is always permissible, and no NDA in the world can silence you from reporting a crime. That's just the way it is. That's just the
great.
facts.
That's good.
So
awesome
beyond that, let's get into what's going on with the criminal liability, and that could fall on the corporation, or that could fall on people like Justin, the gun run Ignacio, the CEO. once again, depending on his level of culpability and the culpability of the COO, the CTO, the other officers of the corporation, this criminal liability could fall not just on, the corporation as a whole, but on these individuals, depending on how complicit they were in this scheme and how much knowledge they had of this. So let's get into the criminal side, shall we? So we've got obviously civil claims, which this is regarding the $500,000 that was not given to charity, that was taken, and God knows what they did with it. Probably, by the way, my best guess on what they did with this is they are leveraged, and they were used that money to pay their current expenses, and they were over leveraged. So they were hoping to pay them back in the future and make some miracle money and pay them back in the future and get everything right.
I was thinking that too.
They didn't do that. They didn't give the money to the charity. Now that's once again, it's my speculation about what they did, but based on what Case on Stream, which just happened just a couple minutes ago, I stopped watching it. It seems they're in financial trouble. And if you're in financial trouble, what are you going to do? You're going to take the money and you're going to use it to pay immediate expenses, probably staff, because they needed to pay them or they'd be hit by labor law restrictions. That's why the JP CEO got paid and Kaysan didn't. So that's what I think they did with that money. Now, if they did that with that money, there's three things that can happen here. Civil claims, both by the donors themselves and by Mouse and anybody else who's a big donor who gave money, federal crimes, and their state crimes. Let's talk about civil claims. So first of all, donors can file suit against Vshojo. So if they donated money or you donated money, you're out there, you donated money, you might want to just have a chit chat with a lawyer and talk about what you did, how much money you gave, and what was going on with that. And then there's claims, once again, these are different types of civil claims for misrepresentation, breach of contract, fraudulent transfer. Particularly fraudulent transfer is at play here because of the large sum of money, because it's a massive amount of money. Misrepresentation because they misrepresented that money was going to go to the charity and they didn't give it there. And breach of contract because there's an implicit contract. There's a fiduciary duty there to take that money and give it to the charity. And they broke that understanding. They broke that agreement. And Iron Mouse could also likely bring a claim as well, because once again, she was part of that. She I'm sure donated to that as well herself. So she probably has status as donor, but also just to clear herself from that and saying, hey, look, this money was supposed to go there. It didn't. Let me put this claim in there to make it very clear that they're doing wrong. So I think Iron Mouse also could back up the donos in that. Let's go to federal crimes. This is the fun one. This is the one
basically
where
everyone
they're
would
going to
get
end up
their money back
behind bars.
Everyone
charity fraud is typically investigated by the FTC, the Federal
fans?
Trade Commission.
Now,
oftentimes they're working in conjunction with the state attorney general. So those working as kind of a team in order to look into all types of charity fraud and really do the investigation. Once again, we are very preliminary. We're at the allegation phase. This would all need to be investigated. We need to see proof. We need to see documents. But the people who get that are the FTC and the state attorney general. And I think the state attorney general of California, which I'm sure many people are going to contact after this, will be very, very interested in hearing this case. $500,000 from a immunodeficiency charity. I'm sorry, that is deplorable. And that's disgusting. And once again, I try to keep this to objective legal analysis, but the scope of this really does give me a righteous indignation with the amount of money that was taken here from a charity. So depending on the nature of the fraud, a breach of that duty to deliver that money can violate several federal laws. So it can be wire fraud. Wire fraud is one of the easiest ones to get them for. And certainly if they wanted to go down that route, and it is a case where they received the money via the internet, because wire fraud is not just old school wires and telephones, it's the internet. They got them, boys. They got them on that one. Money laundering, potentially making false statements about where the money would go, misrepresentations. Also the FTC Act, which involves various regulation of money regarding charities. All of those things they can be hit with, and they could get real jail time on this. This is serious jail time in real prison. This is not fun, down under the sun. This is all potential prison time for people at Vshojo. Beyond that, there's state law. There's California Penal Code 503, 501, 515 regarding embezzlement. So assuming that they took the money and they embezzled it and they use it elsewise, that's right there. Breach of fiduciary duty, because they have a duty. They're the trustee of that money to give it over to the charity. That was their duty. Fiduciary duty.
There's a fun prison.
Anybody who, for example, is holding money for somebody else. So if you gave money to a lawyer and that lawyer is supposed to go pay for real estate, and they don't pay for real estate, they pay for, cocaine and whatever else, that's going to be a huge, massive problem. So that will be a breach of fiduciary duty.
Oh my
This was a breach of
God.
fiduciary duty in the charity sense. Misleading and deceptive fundraising, I think that speaks for itself. They said the money was going to go one place, it didn't go there. Also, reporting and regulatory violations. So how do they do their taxes? How do they report this? They needed to report this to the government, to the regulatory authorities, saying,
Right.
hey, we donated this money to charity. Did they take a tax write-off for this?
Oh, that's
Did they write
huge.
this off on their taxes? Did they make a false financial report?
The IRS is going to go
That's
for their
massive.
ass.
And the last one, and you know, the two things you're afraid of, even the Joker is afraid of, is the IRS. And the tax law violations, both, and the tax law, by the way, is at the state and the federal level. So it's both levels. But tax law is perhaps the most massive place, because if they chose to try to take a write-off on this or to falsify their taxes, oh boy, the tax man does not F around. Does not F around. And that's where the people could see very, very serious state consequences. Now, let's talk about the other girls and a little bit about what went on with them. Obviously, a lot of them have pulled out of the branding. They've no longer branded themselves as Vshojo. They're going to have talks on this. Obviously, Kaysan had a very clear talk. I think Henya is going to talk, and some others are going to have commentary as well, which I may have follow-up videos on that. But it very much seems like these talents were, especially since Kaysan said she was shafted out of wages, that she didn't get paid her wages. In that case, I think they need to file claims as well. I think all of the talents need to consider, particularly in California, filing labor law claims. And once they do that, the other thing that's really going to be awesome for them is all those no retaliation clauses apply to them, so they can start speaking more. Now they need to talk to their attorneys and make sure this works for them under their situation. Their personal attorney is comfortable with this, but assuming they are, once they do that, once the claim is initiated, they will be able to say a little bit more. Now, there's another factor here. This applies to Iron Mouse and all the other girls and why they're not going to talk. If you're going to go into a lawsuit situation or you're going to sue, you want to shut up. You want to say as little as possible, only what you can say or have to say. So even if these girls can speak technically, or they could say it and they're not going to get punished under the law, or Vshojo's not going to be able to sue them for breaching NDA, there may be other good reasons for them not talking. However, that might be able to open up them explaining a little bit more to their audience and giving a little bit more context. And maybe at some point they want to do that. So that's something there. But beyond that, they're owed wages. They're all owed wages.
Yeah.
They need to get paid. They need to get paid the money that they're owed. And I say wages, although wages people usually associate with employees, and payments are usually independent contractors in terms of the language there. But to me, these people are not just amazing talents. They're workers. They're true employees that are dedicating a significant amount of their time, and they are giving some control and authority over to this entity to direct them to do certain things and to take certain actions. And beyond that, the financial arrangement between them is one that I think they could argue, particularly with the restrictiveness of the contract, that set them up as employees. Even further, put Vshojo on the defensive. If all of them file claims in California, labor law claims, it's on Vshojo to prove that they're not employees. So put Vshojo on the defensive. Don't allow Vshojo to take the offensive. Take the offensive against Vshojo. Take it to them. Take it to their court. Push them. And I think that is the right emphasis as they go forward with this. And I'm sure there's lots of California attorneys that would help them. And frankly, if any of the girls needed any help finding a California attorney, I'm happy to try to hook them up and recommend them for them. But that said, I think the girls do need to consider their options and speak with local attorneys. Beyond that, this is a big one, especially after the case on stream. I think they need to really worry about Vshojo declaring bankruptcy, because based on the financial situation, as explained by the JP CEO, it looks like they're not doing good. And what I am worried, and the strategy that came out of case on stream, which I think is putting together, is they are not paying the independent contractors because they're planning to declare bankruptcy.
I thought
I've
they
seen
were
this before as corporate counsel, as evil corporate counsel from my back days when I did that. That is something corporations do. When they're going under, they stop paying out because they know they're just going to declare bankruptcy. in this case, that would apply to most of the girls, I imagine. Now, maybe they have other earnings or other money from elsewhere, but if they were making most of their money from Vshojo, that is a big exemption that could fly in there. Once again, it doesn't guarantee they get paid out, but it does give a glimmer of hope if they go the bankruptcy route, which I think it's looking like right now.
Yeah,
that's what I've got for today for the Fast
that.
Facts version, guys. This has been insane. I will be on top of this. Check out the live if you want to get all the questions, the banter, all that other stuff, and I will catch you on the...
He didn't finish his word. That's what it's looking like to me. I really thought... Oh, my hair's crazy. I really thought they were going to declare bankruptcy. But if they do it first, and Vshojo, like, suing them or whatever, then it sounds scary. I'm gonna try to raise my bitrate again. And see if it does better. If it doesn't, then... Okay, I'm just gonna do 1,100 and see if it stays green. Let me know what you guys think. Oh no! Oh, okay, he's gone. Kirby just does not. He doesn't give up. He doesn't give up. Yeah, it's been good for 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah, but I don't want to look like Minecraft. I don't want to look like little blocks. So I'm praying. All right. So next video I have here is of Flats. You guys remember Flats? He trained me. So Flats, he's somebody who barely knows anything about VTubers. He just knows a little bit. And like when he was training me, it was kind of maybe his first or second time like meeting a VTuber. And so, you know, he doesn't know that much. So I find this curious to find, like, he found out about this whole Vshojo thing when he doesn't really care much about VTubers. He doesn't look up that like VTubers or anything. So he's not a VTuber fan. So like this is curious to see like somebody, this point of view, a person like this kind of person's point of view, someone who just doesn't, yeah, an outsider perspective. Exactly, that's the word. I think this is interesting to me because it's an outsider perspective, someone who just doesn't really know that much about VTuber agencies, doesn't really care that much, and then hearing about this whole Vshojo thing and being like, wait, what? This is a big thing? What? You know, so I think it's pretty fun. I think it's a pretty unique point of view, interesting point of view.
Wait.
Oh, if you guys want to know who he is, he's like a super famous, like, hardcore gamer. He taught me how to play Marvel Rivals. He's super good at like Overwatch and Marvel Rivals. That's what he's known for. He's like a hardcore gamer, like super famous for it.
Why I left Vshojo? Wait, what? Apparently they stole 500K from charity? What?
Yeah.
I am leaving Vshojo. Unfortunately, I recently found out that for the...
Wait, also, didn't like a lot of big people leave recently? Like Guara left, Zentreya left.
Guara left.
Who else?
Guara's not even part of...
I have been misled by Vshojo. With the information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000 from Vshojo.
Oh, that's fucking insane. They probably actually, you know what's funny? They probably didn't even want to make this video.
Oh, yeah, maybe
like a lot of lawyers don't want you to ever speak out publicly, like when you're starting a legal process like that. That's fucking insane. That's the same. Wait a minute. Hold the fuck up. That's the same charity from the subathon, right? I know she's worked with them in the past, but I'm pretty sure it's the same one for the subathon too. Wait, hang on. The subathon record-breaking stream. What was it? It was like 200. Whoops. It was like 200,000 subs, right? She might get into it. Yeah, all right. Hang on. Well, we'll just let it keep running for now, but like, what if it's the sub money? I don't know how all these agencies work, but back in the day, like we're talking 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, like pro orgs. A lot of times when you sign to those orgs, they would take a cut of your sub money every month. And I wonder if Vshojo does that too.
But for now, I just need to let you know that I will no longer be a part of Vshojo. The Immune Deficiency Foundation means the world to me. Connor and I have both spent a ton of energy, time, and resources raising money for charity. And we're both so proud to be able to say that we've raised nearly $4 million for charity. I honestly didn't really know what was going on, and I never ever want anyone else to go through that. So, to recap, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the immune...
First thing I think of, it's probably the other half of the sub money. Because I was doing quick math, did a little over 500,000 owed to the to charity, which is from that, probably. Or close to it from that. They probably had the other half.
As of right now, I am an independent VTuber. I am at a loss of what to do right now. I'm kind of processing everything. I'm very sad and very confused. Once again, I want to apologize to the Immune Deficiency Foundation and to my community who has shown so much support to me. I also wanted to say that all the ad money made from this video will go towards the Immune Deficiency Foundation.
She's such
I
an
just
angel, man.
honestly really want to show that after all of this, that VTubing is a force for good. So thank you guys so much for all the support, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And once again, I want to say that I am truly sorry.
Oh, give me one moment, guys. I'm noticing my bitrate is freaking out again. Oh, man.
Super important.
For you,
yeah, they manage all the collabs for you, probably. Or I understand that. Manage all the payments. Probably gives a lot of network options, and rigging in models are expensive. Yeah, it is a lot of money to probably get into it, especially like some models are like $10,000 or more, right? But I feel like the more like you just hear horror story after horror story. Yeah, from what Chat was saying, she does own her own model, so she'll get to keep it, I guess, which is good. And you know, I feel like wouldn't that put her in legal trouble too? Like technically, like because she did like the whole event was based on like, oh, like half of the money's gonna go to charity, and then they don't do it. Like, doesn't that put her in the line of fire too? You know, like they're jeopardizing her as well. did they just lose the like? Did they spend it? Like, what happened to it? And especially when you get like lawyers involved and like legal stuff, you really can't talk about it. I feel like we've seen okay, I'm an outsider, right? Like, I'm not super well versed in this whole section. I'm kind of like a tourist, but I feel like every other month I see like some big story about VTuber companies like people over or doing something. If there was anything that I feel like would be the final nail in the coffin for a lot of people not wanting to be around it, I feel like it would be Iron Mouse, right? Because is it fair to say, at least, I don't know about like Asia and like, you know, like Japan, China, like all that. But I'd like it among people like well known. Would you say Iron Mouse is like the most famous VTuber? Like most well known? I'd say probably. A lot of people always follow the pack. And so like if the number one, and like at this point there's like out of the top 10, it's probably like 10, 8, 3, 4 have all left, right? Over the last like year, like their own companies. And now the number one is out, at least on Twitch. Well, don't a lot of them do YouTube too? Like a lot of them do YouTube streaming as well, I think. The other VTubers are already jumping ship from Vshojo. Like tonight? Like who? Oh, these are the 4? The big 4 so far?
Yeah, Giga left.
Iron Mouse.
That's Giga.
Giga.
Ventrea. Matara Khan. Matara was fired though.
That's crazy though. Damn, Moisar got a video already? Holy shit, that guy's quick. I mean, he probably knows
something that she doesn't really.
There's a topic I cover from time to time that always seems to ruffle some feathers and get people squirming in their chairs in anger. Because I have less than kind things to say about some of the biggest players in the industry. But I just can't help myself. I can't bite my tongue on it. I'm like Winnie the Pooh poking a beehive because I'm addicted to the honey inside. And in this case, that honey is vindication.
Yeah, Monarch has to leave, and she just got in.
I have bah humbugged VTuber agencies. I've seen a lot of the contracts that some of the top talent were locked into with these organizations, and they are extraordinarily corrupt. I think the agencies in this...
That makes me really think it's like what I was saying at the beginning, where a lot of these, especially older contracts, like older esports orgs, it kind of evolved with time, but I bet VTuber companies did not, where they take a big cut. Either they put you like on a salary and then you have like a percentage of it, and then you make most of your money through sponsors. But obviously VTubing is very different. I'm just talking about
are exploitative and they treat...
How did I say whose name? You mean Matara Khan? Matara? That is how she calls herself. I've watched her.
Their talent more like prisoners. It is unbelievable. But before I dive deeper into the spaghetti and the meatballs on my disdain for VTuber agencies and the industry, I would like to give you the catalyst for why I'm talking about it again.
Oh, Monarch. Is it not Monarch? Isn't that a real word? I've heard that word before, I think. Monarch. She's Amelie, Monarch.
And today, it's because Iron Mouse just made a really sad video about why she's leaving Vshojo.
I'm not saying I would do it, but like if I was to start over tomorrow, I would heavily consider doing VTubing. I would heavily consider it. There's a lot of branding.
Bro, he wants to be a VTuber! Let's go! Let him join!
In your face and like who you are. And that means that the bigger you get, the more you grow, the more noticeable you are, not only online, but in your real life. And that is potentially spooky. Do you think, real talk, question between you and I, do you think people like Kai, Queso, Charlie could go outside and go to the fucking grocery store without getting mobbed?
True.
Probably not. They can't go to a lot of places without like multiple people being like, holy shit, look who's here, and then they text their friends, and then they see it's like,
yeah, and then
like I remember seeing a clip from Mr. Beast like 4 years ago. Whoa. Where he used to have, I think, a 15-minute rule, and then if he got spotted somewhere, he had to be out of the area within 15 minutes or something like that. Or it was like 10-minute rule, where if like somebody came up to him and was like, hey, you're Mr. Beast, can I get a photo or whatever, he like immediately said, we have to leave now.
People have been leaving Vshojo, and now Iron Mouse have dropped this video about some very alleged scummy...
That's kind of fire, actually.
...here at the Vshojo corporate level, and I don't know how Vshojo recovers from it going forward. They haven't made a statement yet. It's still...
Not gonna lie, if somebody were to catch me from my voice and be like, oh my god, is that Tiana? Oh my god. I have thought about it. I feel like I would be scared. I'd probably not say anything. I'd probably be like pure silence, but like, if you guys really had to, I guess like, I'd just like, maybe you could give me a thumbs up and be like, I like your content, and then maybe you can walk away because I'm really shy. You can just be like you got good content, and then just walk away or something. I don't know, and then I'll just be like, okay. I don't know. I just be like, holy shit, they recognize me. That's it, because I don't think I'll ever be that famous like freaking Mr. Beast.
Still a little too fresh as of me making this video. I'm very curious what they're going to say about it. If I had to spitball, I would...
Yeah, I don't go outside anyway, quite literally. I only ever go to the doctor, so like... you will not find me, but anyway.
Imagine that their next play will be donating that money to the charitable foundation. I imagine they donate the 515K to the Immune Deficiency Foundation, or whatever the exact number was. I bet they'll do that to desperately try and save face. I don't think the community will respond well to it because it's very clear that they're just doing it now because of the public pressure that's being exerted on them. Yep. I don't know how...
Honestly, is there a world where they just don't?
All the ones I've seen, the contracts don't scale with that success, so you still are locked into a bad deal. And now the agency just makes a killing off of your success, and you kind of stay in the same spot, more or less. Like, it just doesn't ever really feel worth...
I'd be okay with my doctor recognizing me because he's a professional and he wouldn't do anything weird. He's getting paid to do his job, and like, if he knew, I'd be like, oh, okay. Okay, then just don't spread it around, I guess.
Worth it to do...
Way it sounds like is like, imagine you're like a professional like sports player, like you're a 4th round draft pick in the NFL. You get a guaranteed like $500,000, which, hey, $500,000, good amount of money. Then you go on to be an absolute all-star. Like, you make first NFL team. Like, you are literally like one of the best players, and you are stuck in that contract for the rest of your career. It doesn't matter how good you got, you are stuck in that contract.
Do that when you can still be very successful without these agencies. And it just sucks to see that it is...
I like Flat's comparisons. They're like so realistic for people who don't know anything about VTubers. Like, for everyone to understand.
Still so common that these agencies are greedy scumbags. Like in this case here with Vshojo, apparently. But anyway, I just wanted to yap about this a bit. That's about it.
Okay, so it sounds like I was pretty accurate. I wanted to watch this one too because I was not 100% sure, because it's not one of those topics I'm like super familiar with, but I know of similar cases in other online esports type places, even though that's not really the case anymore. Other orgs at the time that have done that. Now it's a lot harder because like the talent just has so much more leverage. And I think the same thing has kind of happened in VTubing, where they have so much more leverage, but they had them locked under really tight contracts. And
yeah.
Man, that is really sad, though. This crap goes on in defense contracting. I mean, it goes on everywhere, you know? But, like, this in particular is very interesting because without the person behind it, that channel doesn't exist. It doesn't matter if they own the branding to... I know they don't, but, like, say Iron Mouse. It doesn't matter if they get to keep it. They can't do anything with it. They can't have someone else go on camera and pretend to be Iron Mouse at that point.
True.
Like, that is the person who is actually valuable. Doesn't matter if they bring them, like, help bring them up, right? Once they get there, it's like they should have fair payment, and they don't. 2 things I learned today: I should totally VTube and never join Vshojo. No, you should never join any Corpa, it sounds like. Because I mean, like, the reason why you would join Corpa back in the day, a lot of times was like they'd help you collabs, they'd help you with sponsors, rigging, your actual VTuber avatar. And that's the big one, right? VTuber avatar and rigging, it's very expensive.
It's curious. The one thing I noticed is that he calls it an avatar, which is like something you say when you're in a video game and you're making your little character in a video game. But when it comes to VTubers, everyone calls it VTuber model. Because it's not a video game, you know? Like, so it's interesting hearing him, like, because he's really unaware about, like, the VTuber world. So it's interesting. I like his point of view, you know?
But it's not impossible, right? Like, basically, it's like, let's say it's on the expensive end. Let's say it's $10,000, right? $10,000 or even higher. Let's go crazy. Let's say $20,000. Let's say it's $20,000 to get everything done. But what happens when that person turns around and starts making millions a year? Your $20,000 investment just turned into millions, you know? And they don't actually pay $20,000 because they have people on contract. They have artists on contract, riggers on contract, right? They have these people that will go and do all this stuff because they're already paying them, right? So it's like they're doing it on the cheap, and then they get to try and invest in on these people who a lot of times they pick ones that are already gotten going as indie, right? So like they're not even like a risk investment. They already have a base. And yeah, corporate is never your friend. Yeah, true. You should actually remember that for remember that for
the rest
for
of
your own life in your own corporate America, because corporate is not your friend. HR is not your friend. Actually, good example. You want a good example of HR is not your friend? HR always preaches to you, never fraternize with your coworkers. It's a big taboo.
Really?
Anybody know about one of the biggest stories this week of the two people at the concert?
Oh, yeah?
One of them's the head of HR.
Oh,
Sleeping with
the
the CEO.
Coldplay thing! The Coldplay thing!
I bet they're both getting paid big money.
Is that what he's talking about?
Just saying.
He's talking about the Coldplay concert situation where like they had a kiss cam where like there was like a giant camera that the whole like stadium could see, and they would show it to like people, like random people on the stage, like boop, oh, you got caught in the camera, now you gotta kiss the person next to you if you're like a couple. And then like they and then people would like kiss each other, and then like this like couple that were cheating got into the camera, and they immediately hid themselves, both of them. The lady turned around, the guy like bent down so they wouldn't get caught, like seen in the camera, because they knew the world was watching, because Coldplay is super famous. So they're like, they didn't want to get caught that they were cheating with their own partners. Like this HR lady was cheating, and like both of them were cheating, like, and the CEO guy was cheating, and then like they didn't want their you know, their own like coworkers to find out either, like so many people could find out. And because they hid their faces, it made it even worse. Everybody was like, oh, even the Coldplay guy, the guy on the stage was like, they're hiding. Probably either they're really shy or they're cheating. And it turned out they really weren't cheating. And now the whole world knows. They all made memes about it. Like, it's so messed up. That's what you get for cheating. Ooh. Anyway, moving on. This is like Flat's point of view, somebody who doesn't know as much about VTubing, but he made a part 2 video after learning more. So let's go see what his, like, if he found out even more, and like, now that he understands more, like, I'm assuming, like now he can say more about it.
Guys, remember yesterday we covered a little bit of the Iron Mouse thing, which was really sad. Look at all the tabs I have here. My mods linked to me a bunch of stuff while I've been streaming. And first off, I'm going to start with this. All the VTubers from Vshojo are no longer on Vshojo's affiliate list. It's over. All of them are gone. We have this one. Breaking. Keisan was planning on leaving Vshojo on July 31st due to being owed a significant amount of earnings as well. She's not been paid out of any streaming earnings since October of last year.
Oh, it was October?
And Keisan was live.
My God.
Holy crap. 36,000 people that was watching. No one expected any less in this situation, but she plainly said to the Japanese Vshojo CEO, I quit.
I quit. This is very wrong. Ro-san.
Hi.
Very, very wrong. You're telling me that Vshojo JP was doing good? Looked like, at least. Then where is it? Where is it? I want it now.
Oof. In front of the whole audience.
Is that the actual CEO of the Japan branch? And he just straight up just doesn't say anything? Was like, I want my money? Keisan just quit in front of the Japanese Vshojo. Oh, so this is that previous clip translated. Says the amount handled by JP was much lower than EN. Did you say Vshojo JP itself was doing good? Yes.
Ooh.
You haven't paid me. That's what it says on the main company's finance book. Huh. Wait, so you know the JP talents were not being paid? Wait, no, it's not this one. No, it is. And then it says, for context, JP does not handle the finances on their own. We are doing good comparing the money coming in to the money going out. I quit Vshojo today. I was planning on doing it on the 31st, but I'm doing it today. I quit. This is very wrong. You're telling me you could have paid me? Yes. Where is the money? I want it now. ... Did you just die? Dude, did you just die is actually fucking iconic. And then there's this clip, Retro linked me, from
I saw this
but
one.
for today, I'll just be talking about my own situation. I
Mochi
recently
Heavy.
found out that Vshojo owes me a good amount of unpaid debt. I
Holy shit.
also have other reasons that I was advised not to get into or say too much of as of now. So I'm sorry if I can't talk about that.
They legally can't, by the way. Every lawyer on the planet that probably works with any of these people is probably like, you probably shouldn't say anything at all. Like, don't say anything. You can create problems for yourself. So, like, they're already taking a bit of a risk even talking about it publicly, any of these things. And it gets worse. It says, this person moved from a noted VTuber company to another as a staff last year.
Yeah, she
bragging
was.
about his new income. He thrusted me a few of his new business cards.
Oh, this is somebody else.
Give to my good contacts.
Oh, it's
I found the
Gaho,
action
right? I
obnoxiously
saw this
rude,
tweet.
But maybe he was too young.
Gaho is like a
know
friend
better.
of Connor.
Recently, I heard from another creator that he was showing photos of VTubers' real selfies or real selves while revealing their personal info like marital status. I now wanted to find a way to warn the other employees. Today, I've learned the most despicable shit this company has done to their talent. Don't know if he's involved in that, but all my personal grudge is nothing compared to such betrayal. Sometimes, unfortunately, the managers or agencies can be the talent's worst enemy. Please always support the talent first. Holy shit, dude.
So
how
she
does it keep
met
getting
one
worse?
of the
I want to make a
employees and he
statement
was an
'cause I was always
asshole.
anxious to struggle to find my words, but yes, I'm leaving Vshojo. I was an OG talent, put everything in this comp, but I'm beyond devastated at what happened. And never in a million years I thought I'd be saying these words. Then this is Amelie's. As of today, I will be terminating my contract with Vshojo effective immediately, and I'll be returning to being independent VTuber and content creator.
She just
Nothing about my
entered
content will change, and
Vshojo,
I
I
was
feel
indie for
like.
18 years before signing with Vshojo,
It's only been
and
a
I
couple
retained
months,
my
right?
IP. My love goes out to the talents. I wish you all the best. Thank you for so much for your continued support, and we look forward to the future. And then there's more from Kuro. I didn't want to say anything until it's finalized, but people have keep making assumptions. No, I'm not staying here, and I've already submitted a leave contract and I had that meeting 11 days ago. The only reason I still have the Vshojo brand logo on here is because they have to remove it themselves. As an associate, you cannot remove it yourself. Same with every other member. In any case, I'm waiting for the contract to be all fulfilled and done, but I guess I'm indie now, LOL. Well, apparently, according to this, it apparently looks like everyone's fucking gone. I have thousands of dollars from this person, Shiro Beats.
Oh, Shiro Beats
I have $1,000 of unpaid
music.
work from them. Had to chase people down to make my friends get paid, or my friends got paid. They even hired someone to help with music stuff, but I ended up managing everything while they got paid for my work. Wait, is this person they're an artist producer? Oh my Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he makes like
What
almost
is this?
all of Iron
Last
Mouse's
year,
songs.
Vshojo has been habitually late in paying me for commissions. Wait, is this person are they producers? I was thinking if they're producers or maybe they made the rigging for their stuff like that. Sometimes leaving thousands of dollars in my invoices unpaid for months at a time. I tried to be patient, but knowing they were stealing charity money from Mousy while this was all happening makes me sick to my stomach. Gotta jump in and say the same goes for me as well. There's multiple unreleased works I never received payment for to the other person. Another one from
Like artists
Vay.
are coming out.
Looks like
and
nothing
everything.
changed between 2023 and 2025 in terms of how the org management moves LMFAO. Couldn't and still can't say shit because of their god-awful NDA that I had to sign. I legally
Oh, this is
can't
Veve. She's
badmouth
one of the
company,
VTubers.
but at least everyone knows now the reason why we left.
Ah, Veve knew. She left like last
Holy
year, I
shit.
think, or like a couple years.
And you know, they
I
probably
forget.
had to sign that before they even got brought on. Before they even got brought on, like the first
I remember.
time. There's one more thing before I say
I
that.
remember like when those three girls left. It was Nyanners, Vebe, and Silvervale. They left like almost at the same time, if not at the same time. And everybody was suspicious, like what's happening in Vshojo? Like why are these girls like all leaving? Like these three, like like three is a lot, because like Vshojo is not huge. They don't have that many girls. So like, why is 3 leaving all at once? Like, something's wrong. And then nobody else left, so it was like, oh, okay, that's weird that they decided all 3 to go together. Like, strange. They couldn't even talk about what, like, their NDA, they couldn't talk about what really was happening, and people were coming up with assumptions.
There's also this. One last one from Iron Mouse. Any artists or musicians that worked with me through Vshojo and never got paid, please contact me ASAP so I can get you paid. I'm so sorry.
Aww.
Yeah, they're dead. They're cooked. They're actually cooked now.
They're cooked.
I don't have a whole lot else to really say on it. It's just more of like a wow. And I wonder, this has got to be the start of a whole new, like, everyone's probably not going to want to be part of corpas for agencies or for VTubing, right? You should have posted, look at the video Tori Orain posted. She's a prospective talent that was led on and isn't being reimbursed over 10 figures. It's fucked up. 5 figures. Oh, that's a big difference. My experience with Vshojo.
This statement is meant to be a defense to share my story and what I've been through the past year, and hopefully as an opportunity to back up some of the other victims' experiences. I will also be donating all money this video makes to the Immune Deficiency Foundation.
Small, very small, good thing out of this, by the way. Does anyone have the Tiltify link? They're at, like, I think over $500,000 raised over this. Look at this. It's at $513,000.
It was already the amount that
any good thing
Iron Mouse needed.
that has happened from this is people coming together, which is
right.
sick. So there's at least one good W out of everything.
Yeah.
And hopefully whenever they recover the money, because they have to, right? Hopefully. Unless they go under.
They already reached $1 million now.
That'll be $1 million raised, which is a big W.
In July of 2024, I submitted my application for Vshojo for their public auditioning process. A little over a month went by until their tweet went live stating that all applicants were reached out to. My callback email was received earlier that same day. From there, I went through almost 6 months of back and forth audition rounds. Inside of the auditioning process, most days there was only one staff member present, who later became the only staff member I had contact with my entire time signed with Vshojo.
Wow.
Eventually in December, I was booked for a final meeting where I would be congratulated for passing the audition process and invited to join Vshojo officially. I was told to start thinking about what kind of VTuber character I wanted to create, and I was told the spending budget that I'd be assigned for the model and debut. From here, my contact with Vshojo
Chat, does anyone know what that budget ends up looking like? Just curious.
moved to one-on-one Discord DMs.
It really depends on the agency.
I received the talent contract, and a few weeks later, after consulting a lawyer, I signed the contract. I'm currently 7 months into that contract. At this time, I was asked not to stream under an indie account on the side. Initially, I was told that our onboarding process would begin a week after signing the contract. From there, production of assets would begin around March with an aim
Is this going where I think it's going, where she just doesn't get...
debut timeline of summer. This was communicated to me before ever signing the contract.
Uh-oh.
Once I signed, I was told initial onboarding meetings would be pushed back by a week. During downtime, I began working with a character design artist out of my own pocket to bring my concept to life.
Out of her own
Skip to the last day of February, after over a month of having the contract signed and still no onboarding meetings or official communication, I was told due to staff allocation, and staff allocation only, that the debut would now be pushed to a timeline of November 2025 to January 2026, and of summer 2025.
That's a lot of time.
Summer of 2025 to November/January?
That's crazy.
So wait, hang on. Are they getting paid? Like, do they get a salary until that point? Or are you just basically just
I'm assuming they don't.
They already said you can't stream on the side, right? They were like, don't indie stream on the side. Like, you should commit to this. So like, how are you supposed to make income? Like, how are you supposed to pay your bills?
You're gonna starve
they're
until
supposed to help
you
you with
start.
that. Yeah, like, but
Hell yeah,
clearly
Flaps. Thanks.
I think that's 12 months. Appreciate it. But clearly they didn't, you know?
July would now be when we began onboarding meetings. I said I had no problem with delays, as long as I got to debut eventually. I then requested to start a small indie streaming account on the side, so I wasn't out of streaming for what would have been a year. I was told that this was okay, which is where I announced I would be my current indie Tori Orion for an extended, undisclosed amount of time. On March 4th, I started to worry about my future. I had now been signed with Vshojo for 3 months. I had no contact with any staff apart from the one. I was part of no official service.
Wait, so they were March 4th, so they already missed the November to January window?
Given no updates about the company or those joining/departing from the company, and I had no contact with existing talent. I sent my staff contact to this DM. Hello. Hope the staff team has been doing well. I know we discussed waiting until July for production, but I just wanted to reconfirm that my joining of Vshojo is still happening. To be honest, I'm a little bit nervous given the delays and multiple months of downtime without communication. Especially given I am halting most content creation related work in preparation for Vshojo. I don't mind the delays or waiting whatsoever, just a definitively confident reconfirmation would help ease my anxiousness. I hope we can open a more consistent line of communication in regards to updates
Tell me they
if possible.
didn't just not respond.
Oh my
In
god.
short, I was told that the same debut timeline was being aimed for and that I didn't need to worry. However, I received another delay saying that onboarding and production would not begin until August instead of July now.
Wait, hang on.
Well, it just keeps
a little confused
going.
here. Did they miss last year's and it's all the way around?
They
'Cause it
keep
said 3
missing
months,
it,
so
and like missing,
maybe
like
that's they're
pushing
just
it
like,
and
like
pushing
they
it.
skipped ahead of the story then came back.
Need to worry, that I would get to debut and that I would receive a budget. I decided to shift my efforts into building what would become my brand under Vshojo, keeping staff in the loop along every step of the way.
Wait, was it January 2025 or November 2025? That's what I'm wondering. Because November 2025 is the future. January 2025 has already happened.
I reached out to model artists and riggers. I found an artist who agreed to work with me. I asked staff if there were any issues with working with this artist, and I was told no. So production began on the model art in June. It was then told to me that the allotted debut budget may need to be reevaluated. I sent. If the budget is timing related, I don't mind fronting the cost until it can be reimbursed down the line.
Oh no.
I was quoted $1,000.
Oh,
I can just provide receipts for the work to be compensated at a later date, if of course that's easier.
Oh
I
my
hope,
god.
not to them, like to everyone. This is a lesson that you should never be forced to pay for anything work related out of pocket. If you are paying for anything work related out of pocket, that's salary, materials, whatever it is, you are getting scammed.
Oh,
you know who the people that unfortunately get scammed the most out of is like teachers. And you can't even get mad at them because obviously like they're trying for the kids. You know, they'll buy a bunch of extra shit for the kids because it's for children. And it's like, obviously that's not a scam, but like they shouldn't have to pay for those.
Yeah,
like if you're ever like they tell you to go run to the
I didn't
coffee
know
shop and
that.
buy everybody coffees and you're gonna buy that out of pocket and they don't reimburse you, whatever it is, you need to stop and like absolutely just tell them no. Always hardline no.
Once again, I reconfirmed if a debut would be happening.
Is that what I did when I was in Overwatch League? Yes and no. So in Overwatch League when I first started, I was too young / too new to have my own card. So I would have to buy things on my own and then put in a request to get paid back. To be fair, they always did. They never f***ed me, right? But like, I had to have the money in my account to spend the money, right? That was one thing that did kind of suck.
At this point, I didn't mind paying fully out of pocket if it meant I was debuting. I considered it as investing in myself.
Oh no.
Time and time again,
sad.
I was reassured we would be debuting, so I genuinely had no issue with fronting these costs. I attended the June 2025 Off-Kai in person, and here I learned a lot more than what the staff was communicating to me at this point. I kept hearing whispers of Vshojo financial concerns. This concept was unheard of to me. I was told delays were only because of staff allocation. I was told there was a strong possibility I would not be debuting, despite the constant reassurance the past 7 months, due to these financial complications.
So they're cooked on money. That's what it is. That's why they don't have the 500,000. They don't have it. Oh, that's really bad. So you know how I was saying before during this part where I said, you know what the good thing is like, even though like they're gonna probably get that 500,000 back from the company through litigation, this means that another 500,000. So like that's huge, and they're gonna win, and like that's a big W. That money which is probably gonna be gone. Then who has it? No one. It would be the company. So like, okay, so if you don't know how, and I'm speaking slightly out of my ass here. I'm trying to speak to my best of my ability of like my own 4-year degree of pretty high-end business school. When a company dissolves, obviously there's insurances and stuff like that, but like if a company goes under and goes bankrupt and there's no money to be had, that's it. The company's gone. Like there's no money to extract. Like yeah, the company will be fully gone, but like you can't squeeze blood from a stone unless there is actual fraud, like embezzlement, and they can go after the individual people.
There is, though.
Let's say it's the CEO or whatever. There's a difference between mismanagement of funds at the company versus somebody stealing it. If they're stealing it, then they could go after that person. But if it's just the company's fucked up, there's a good chance it's just gone. Because then you just go into bankruptcy and the company just goes like, and you can, like the American government just goes, yep, it's over. That company's gone. Poof. You can't go after the people who ran it. Unless, obviously, there's a fraud of some sort. That's different, though.
I'm disgusted at the course of actions that Vshojo has chosen to take.
Yes, all their assets would be liquidated to pay off debts But what assets does Vshojo have other than their talent? It's all online.
It's true.
Their
It's all the
talent is
talents.
the thing that's worth money. Maybe if they had digital assets like stocks, crypto, offices, if they own them, sure, that stuff. But like, is it going to be 500,000 or more? I don't know.
I'm not only down 5 figures on debut-related fees, but I'm also down almost a year of my time. I'm not only devastated because of the wasted time, but because joining Vshojo was genuinely my dream. Vshojo introduced me to VTubing 5 years ago. It made me think I could do it. It made me believe that even though I wasn't the cookie-cutter idol that I so desired to be, that I could feel a part of this industry. And then I made it into Vshojo. I achieved my dream. And now, I never even got to do a singular onboarding meeting. I suppose that's why I'm releasing this statement.
What did she pay for? I'm so confused.
She said
she wanted to be a VTuber really bad,
number.
and they started to tell her they were having issues with getting her stuff done with payment. So she said that she would front the cost and then they would pay her back later. She offered to pay for it up front and have the company pay back her later. So she probably paid a lot of the money, or at least started the process of paying money to have her VTuber stuff done when the company should have been the one paying for it. So basically, the way I could describe this to you is like, your job's supposed to do something for you. Like, for example, move you to a different state. They're supposed to pay you $10,000 to move you, and then right before you're getting close to moving time, like, oh, we don't have the money to move you, and then you go, that's okay, I'll pay the $10,000 to move, just pay me back later, and then they just don't pay you back.
I just wanted someone to acknowledge what I've been through and see that I did make it in Vshojo, even if I will never debut. In hindsight, it feels incredibly selfish of me to be putting this out when so many others have experienced so much more loss and hurt through the actions of Vshojo. Once again, I encourage you to spread as much love as you can to those that are affected. Thank you for listening to my story. Please spread kindness and support the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Thank you.
Okay. As somebody who
wild.
is very lucky to be able to say...
That's like so hard because I'm imagining myself, like, I did consider like maybe one day Vshojo might, like, if I were to apply or something, Vshojo will see something in me and take me in, because I did think Vshojo was like top of the top next to Hololive. So I'm imagining myself in her situation, like, oh my god, I got into Vshojo, this is my dream come true, like, I'm gonna, my life is set, like, I can do everything that I want now, like, my life is set, I have like a real success, like, I can go to my family and tell them, look, I finally succeeded in something, and they can be proud of me, and I could like, you know, finally be able to like pay for my own medical plan instead of my mom doing it. I can, like, you know, I can go wherever I want, I can do anything, I can be the greatest VTuber I ever wanted to be. And then, like, all of a sudden, all of that just like, oh no, sorry, never mind, haha, didn't work out, like, we can't do it anymore. That would crush my soul. That would crush every little bit of my soul I've ever had. I'd probably go into like the worst depression ever. Like, I would probably feel like quit VTubing. I don't know, I just left for me, you know, like, I just, you know, it would be the worst feeling in the world. Like, I can't imagine what this poor girl feels.
A few things. I'm very lucky to be able to say I've been pretty successful as a streamer. I've been pretty good at building a brand. I've got an education before going into streaming, and I've gotten pretty educated and from my fellow peers. I've had great people. Scroll down to top donos. Donating again because Vshojo stole the first one from Gamer Subs. Holy mother of... That's actually fire. I was gonna say, I've had the luck of being able to learn from others, and a lot of the big things that I've learned is standing your fucking ground 10 toes down, especially with a lot of companies, right? Publicly and privately. There's a lot of things you can do. I always try to play nice and play ball and give people their time, but I will, and if it comes down to asks, things that you're being paid for or not paid for, whatever, you stand 10 toes down and be like, either A, we're not doing this till we suggest payment. B, if we does get done, payment needs to be done in a timely manner. And 3, all of it's done through contracts. Everything is done down to the absolute T. There's almost never any verbal, word of mouth, wishy-washy. There is 2 things. We are either doing this and it's paid, or we are not doing it and it's not paid, period. And being sold on the idea of something or potential idea of something is something you need to always be afraid of and always keep in mind as a thing in the back of your mind.
Flats wisdom.
To not have happened to you. There's a lot of companies that will try to be your friend and they will pretend like they have your best interest in mind, but your best interest in mind does not align with theirs many times, because their best interest is to make money. And if they are paying you for something, they want to pay you the littlest amount possible, because that means more money in their pocket as opposed to in yours. So even you can be friends with them, but you have to understand there's a difference once you get to the negotiating table, and there's a difference when it comes down to all of this stuff. You have to be super aware. And this is obviously a tragedy for VTuber space. For any content creator or someone who wants to be one in the future, you got to be very careful working with sponsors, very careful with working with games, very careful working with a lot of these things. And even if you're not one of those people, if let's say you're somebody who just works in corporate America, you have to be very careful, because there'll be a time, like for example, if they're promising you a promotion and they string you along for a year, 2 years, 3 years, promising you a promotion, that bitch ain't coming. That promotion's never coming, dude. That promotion is there to get you to work harder and to dangle you like a carrot on a stick. At some point you run out of gas, and then once you run out of gas and ask for that promotion, they know that once you get the promotion, you are not going to work as hard because you've been going 110% and you are going to burn out. They are not stupid. They know for a fact that's what's going to happen. Why pay you more money to do less work when they could just say, nah, sorry, we changed our mind and got everything they could get out of you. Just things to keep in mind.
Wisdom, bro. Wisdom right there. Wisdom. Flats is smart as frick. He knows. He knows how this shit works. We need to absorb that information right now. I feel so bad for Tori Orion, man. I hope she doesn't quit and she continues doing her best, enjoying VTubing, you know. Let's see what Giga has to say. This one, I think Giga, she's pre Vshojo. Literally one of the first that left before we found out what was happening with Vshojo, like right before. This is the last video I've got. And she's gonna talk about Gunrun's apology. So Vshojo actually posted an apology on Twitter about everything. Now that they're so cooked. He posted an apology, and I want to see what Giga wants to say about that. She already left Vshojo before, like, everyone else left at the same time, you know? Like, right before, like, it was caught that they were burning down. Like, right before.
What I'll say is, before I post anything, you know, I want to give as much info as I can.
And also, like, it's kind of crazy that she had just joined and then kind of left in, like, a year or something, or less than that, maybe. Like, she wasn't even that, like, old in there. Like, she hadn't been there for that long. So I think she found out and was like, immediately, okay, I'm getting the hell out of here.
While still keeping myself safe. I don't want to be like, oh, I just won't say anything, blah, blah, blah. Because I feel like I've always been someone who tries to keep you guys informed, to keep proper information going. If I don't say anything, then a lot of misinfo is just what gets spread. And I think a lot of people could get hurt on all sides. On all sides could get hurt a lot worse or in ways they shouldn't, you know. So I'm just trying to be a voice of reason there. I don't love, like, you know, whenever someone else has drama, I don't like talking about it. I only talk about things that pertain to me, and I love not talking about stuff. But when it's something that could cause people issues, I flip, you know. And I'm like, all right, I actually will talk a lot. So apologies, because I know my community is not used to me sitting there ruminating on stupid dramatic. Though I wouldn't consider this drama, which is why I'm talking about it, right? So just apologies. I don't know. I hate circling on things that are like that, like negative. We talk about like video games and I don't know, the Pennsylvania ice trade or whatever. You know, but, you know, there's some things that if I'm highly concerned something is at a certain level, I can talk about a little more. There are things that if I see something already outed, I could talk a bit more. If I'm worried that something could be harmful and I want to clarify it, I could talk a bit more, etc. So, you know, I'm just going over that. But yeah, I typed out my initial thoughts at the very least, and then I've sent those over to be looked at, and I'm gonna post them soon. talk a little, I guess. Vast amount of this I just do not believe. I do not believe. I will also say this is the person who I would hear from friends every convention they went to. Oh yeah, he covered our dinner. It was so cool. We all had dinner and he covered the whole bill. Yeah, he sent me home in an Uber. He paid for Uber Black, etc., etc. You know, I'm used to hearing these things. I'm used to hearing these things for a long time. This is someone who has other monetization sources and stuff outside of all this stuff. So I'm not saying that's where it went. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying this person has this money, whether it's that exact money or other money from other business ventures. This is a person who has been doing fine financially from what we've seen. And I think it's a lot easier for someone like that to stand up there and go, I take responsibility, when they, by all accounts that I've heard and seen, seem to be doing fine. You know, whether he ends up being financially affected by this or not, you know, there are a lot of people, not just him, there are a lot of people who've already made their money. If the company is closing this month, what that means is there are a lot of people who have been on and paid through this time. There's some who took pay cuts, there's some who didn't get paid here and there as well, but there are people who have been paid this whole time. There's some people who've been, you know, they stopped a couple months ago or whatever, but they were getting paid up until then. There are people who did a lot throughout their time there. There are people who did a lot of nothing throughout their time there. Also, no, guys, do not say stupid ass legal shit unless you are a lawyer advising me, because you are my lawyer, okay? In chat, I want to make that clear. A lot of people spreading a lot of misinformation about NDAs and how they work. The majority of comments I see about it are completely incorrect. I just want to make mention of that, okay? But I googled it. At Grok, is this real? At Grok, how does this NDA work? Tweet from Gunrun. It's on the Vshojo account, but it's signed off as from Gunrun, so anything I say relating to it really is to him, not addressing the whole company. He wrote, here, I'll put it on the screen for you. I assume he wrote, probably PR, lawyer, whatever, assisting. He wrote, Vshojo's failed. I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. So today I'm sharing the difficult news that Vshojo's shutting down, and I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point. I want to say, saying you take responsibility verbally is cool and all. It changes nothing about the situation.
True.
It changes absolutely nothing. Do I think it's nice to say this? Yes. Do I think the person who is ultimately responsible should say this? Yes. However, their words. That's it. He said, continuing, I've been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship these past few months, but despite my efforts, we are in a worse position, and those I care about are now paying the price. Yeah, I mean, the only stuff that's been visible to me this whole time to right the ship has been attempts at fundraising, and, you know, some staff leaving because they were like not really able to get paid anymore, or whatever the reasoning is. Those are the best efforts. That's it. Those are the best efforts. And that's pretty much, from what I know, from what I'm aware of, what his job has been the whole time, is to just keep trying to find fundraising. I have not really seen many other efforts to make things profitable. There was like one other effort that was a good idea, but was executed very poorly and went not well. So even if the idea here and there was good, the execution made that impossible to work out. So therefore, the only thing that was really being done in a positive direction was fundraising from the perspective that I had. He continues, over the past few years, we raised around 11 million to pursue a bold. I want to say that was one time, that was an initial seed round investment. I asked questions about that, and that was just the seed round, and that was it. To pursue a bold, talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term sustainability. I don't know why he's writing this. It just sounds like another advertisement for a company that's not going to exist. Mentioning the 11 million investment is fine. Talent first approach, this has been disproven in many ways. I do think a lot of the staff attempted this genuinely. I think things in our contracts, some of it reflected that, you know, in relation to like us owning our IPs. I guess. Our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. Okay, generous splits, I cannot comment right now on exact splits or anything. I think that's a bad idea. I will say, is it better than what I've heard about from some other VTuber companies? Yes. However, I don't think we should ever in this industry compare how anything goes to other VTuber companies as if there's some magical different thing from regular talent agencies. A standard talent agency and talent management company in the Western sphere, usually the splits are a lot better, and things are just, it's just that model. I think taking this company and comparing it to VTubing agencies is a really good way to make it look better. That's what I think about that. Debut investments, yeah, I mentioned that they covered a little bit of stuff for my debut. I already paid a lot of it myself before that time as well, and they covered some things by the time I decided I was joining. Infrastructure, what infrastructure? A lot of the stuff that I know I took advantage of was stuff that third parties had, that maybe they were helping us out for free, or maybe some of them did get paid a little bit, I don't know. Concerts, yeah, there was one, it happened, I joined, so I wasn't part of it. I did sit in VC with everyone and watched it, which was cool. Any other concerts after that were not anything that this company paid for, that was the talents themselves, like Mouse's concert, Michi's concert, right? Their own individual ones. Those were their concerts. The funding did not go to those. It only went to the first one. It went to one concert, singular. Unless there's something I don't know, but as far as I know, I don't know. I'm pretty sure from what I've heard from members, they paid for those themselves. Events, what events do you guys remember? What events do you guys remember? At least in my time there, which was basically the past 2 years. Maid Cafe, maybe? Getting some standees and having us do some con walkarounds, maybe paying for, not Oscar walking us around, that was his own thing, but paying for, like, if we had the robot, maybe renting that or something. I don't know if we owned that or not. We might have owned one of those bots, maybe. N.E.E.T collab? No, that was a sponsorship. N.E.E.T paid us. The company's funding did not cover that. They paid us to do that. And staffing, this is true. One of my major concerns was the amount of money going towards staff. We had a lot of staff, and I thought that was cool and all, but I didn't think we could afford it. I also only knew a few staff members the entire time I was there. I, within the last few months, received an org chart that showed me who all the remaining staff at that time were, and a list of what they did, and there were so many names on there that I didn't know. There were a lot of staff that were in and out before that too, so I just, most of the time there, had no real visibility on staff. I'll read out some parts of my written statement in a moment to go over some of that stuff. It said all designed to support them. I'm sorry, I just don't feel like 11 million's worth of support was really given to the members that were there from the beginning. I feel like a lot of that went into things that didn't really provide for them in the end. We also wanted talent to own their IP. I mean, why are we even saying this? This is something that is standard for any talent agency in the Western sphere. The only time this doesn't happen, for the most part, in this industry and in content creation tends to be with some JP VTuber agencies, but this is a Western one, so this is not anything incredible to mention. Which we knew was a unique creator-first approach for an agency. Again, not unique for an agency. Maybe for a VTuber agency when comparing to the other two big ones, and that's it. Despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and eventually we ran out of money. Yeah, this is true. Their efforts were efforts in the wrong direction. I think they had some times where they were trying new things that maybe would make money. I pointed out multiple times how those weren't going to work. I didn't think they were going to work. I thought they were kind of dead in the water, and they still spent money on them and worked on them, and I said, I don't see the point. And then they would like drop the ideas or realize they have to pivot or it wouldn't work out. And then I was like, okay, well, we already spent the money on it, right? Okay, and then additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. Look, I'm gonna need a receipt to know when this was found out or something to make me believe this. Is this possible? Maybe. I'm gonna need to see something to believe that. From what I know, if I had money of mine that in some way went into the company, they knew what it was for. This was a weird case, the charity money, because typically you send charity money straight to a service to get it to them first. This was in relation to Mouse's subathon, which means somehow she had to get money that went to her for subscriptions. It had to get over to the charity, and having, you know, like that go to them first. This was a weird case with how the payment worked, but it was said on stream what was going on. A lot of this was talked about and publicly known, right? And we talked about, oh yeah, half is going to go to charity and all of this. The only way he could have maybe not known about anything is if he literally had his eyes closed, which I do think he did a lot of the time while doing his work, and I'll talk about this.
His eyes closed.
I think he would have had to have his eyes closed and not be looking at the screen. So at the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our costs. This is true. They were trying to raise investments because it seems to be the only strategy that they were able to really do here. And I firmly believed, based on the information available to us, that we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. I don't know why he firmly believed that. Again, I'm no stranger to startups. Most startups fail. Most startups, after their first investment, do not get invested in again, and they end up closing. This is standard. They usually fail. To make it past that and get a second investment is on the more rare side. And you have to be able to prove to investors reasons why they should believe that you are going to soon, or with additional investment, become over time profitable. I knew some about what I had been told, and I was able to see that we were not on that track and had no solid plans to become, you know, properly on this track. So I was like, there's
she
no way an
asked them the right
investor
questions
would look at this and think this is good.
before it all went
either
down.
this is a lie or he actually was that incompetent. Pick one. We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. He was not the only person in those discussions. I know people that I spoke directly to in meetings who talked about they would use the word we are trying to do this, we are pursuing funding. Other individuals who also were talking to people about these things. I do think it is ultimately on him as the CEO. Absolutely, yes. But this is you know, he's not the only person who did this stuff. Says, I'm deeply sorry to all the talent, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. You did not deserve this. I will say that I think the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I am not absolving him of anything here. I do think he started out like actually thinking he could do this. Genuinely. I will say that much. That being said, I mean, what are we saying here? Like pleading face emoji, I'm so sorry. Like, I talked about this yesterday. I had meetings with leadership, and this does not mean only him, with leadership, talking about my thoughts on how things were going and how it was not going to go well, and I was concerned. At that time, if it was known that things were going so poorly, someone could have made the call to cut the losses, to say, we need to cut a lot of staff right now. That's our big spend is staff salaries. We need to cut certain projects. These are big spends as well. Let's liquidate some things that we have, whatever. See what our money situation is.
She's so
pay
smart.
money out to talent so that we're
She knows how this
close to
works.
or not as much in debt. Maybe pay the charity first. Talk to us about it and go, look, we owe this money to you guys, but we also owe to charity. You know, here's what we want to do. We could have just talked about it.
No, she should
It
have
still would have
worked
been bad.
as a
It would have been
staff
less bad.
member.
And a conscious decision was made to not do that. So, you know. Anyway, I'm going to read my reply now. This is what I replied to the tweet. I said, Vshojo didn't just fail. Many staff and leadership failed Vshojo. I'm not going to name any specific people for the record. I don't want to point fingers at anyone right now. There's more information that's needed, and even then, I don't know if I want to be the one worrying about that stuff. But I just want that to be known, that this is not just one person. It's impossible for this to have been one person and no one else knew, right? Do I think some of those other people maybe had the power to do anything? Probably not for a lot of them. You know, that's really case by case for each person. But, you know, I think
Maybe they didn't
we
have
shouldn't
power
pretend that
or
he's the only
whatever.
person in this situation, right? I said, instead of using talent money on operating costs, the company should have shut down, or at least informed us, but you instead used us as cash cows to keep things afloat while keeping us in the dark. Again, this is a conscious decision. You chose to keep the expensive sinking ship going and felt it was fine to keep paying out to staff you were friends with instead of putting talent first. You made it abundantly clear that you're okay with not prioritizing the debts owed to the talent who made this company what it is. Again, this was a conscious decision.
He only wanted to keep
While
his
saying you will take
friends.
full responsibility is the correct thing to do, I also think there are many others in the company without the same positive intent as conveyed in this message. Again, these were all conscious decisions. In every leadership or staff call I had, you sat back and didn't say much while you had other staff members that were clearly the ones doing the actual work be the ones to speak. Again, I sat in meetings with people, or some of them weren't just me, were other members as well, talk about a lot of these things. Maybe not to the extent that we know now, obviously. A lot of this is newer information, some of the recent stuff, but knowing that there were issues, bringing up concerns, there were other people answering our questions. There were other people who were sitting there talking to us about our concerns, so they knew what our concerns were. Whether or not they actually could help is a different story. Some of them just did not have the ability to do anything about that. But you know, we did not only talk to him. There was one meeting where we did just talk straight to him. And I spoke to my own manager and some other people in the company very clearly about all the things that were told to him in that meeting. So more information from my end was shared. And then I said, we know which leadership worked on our contracts. He did not sit there and write them, for the record. We know which leadership constantly sat in VC playing games with staff instead of working on time-sensitive tasks for events and debuts. This is something that I brought up multiple times. There were staff members that I couldn't get a hold of at times, or were supposed to be working on a thing and I knew it was taking time, and I mentioned something to someone else who was also NDA'd, and they said, oh, a couple of names have been in VCs playing nothing but certain games all day. And I said, can you show me proof? And they would check in throughout the day and send regular screenshots going, yep, still in VC, yep, still screen sharing this game. You know, do I think people should be allowed to play games? Sometimes, absolutely. But when people are waiting on some shit, come on. When you're getting paid as a full-time employee, when funding, we're owed money. Funds are getting paid for you to sit there and do that. I brought this up. And said, this is happening. You have full-time employees doing this. And this is without me knowing that the company was so in debt. I was just bringing it up because I was like, yo, you got workers doing this? And one of my complaints at the time was just, I don't feel like I get this many full-time employees worth of support for all of us. And I'm noticing this as well. This is a problem. It was me pointing that out. This wasn't even about the money at the time, you know? And I was aware of this, and I made people aware of this many, many, many months ago. Continuing, there's 2 more lines. It said, we know which staff consistently leaked information about talent. Yeah, several of us had our trust breached so many times. A lot of my projects were getting talked about at events because I would have a friend message me and go, oh my God, I was at this event and I heard about this thing. That's so cool. And I would go, what do you mean you heard about that thing? This is only something that I discussed in my Discord and with my own staff. And they'd be like, yeah, I saw a picture of like this merch item you got coming up. And I'm like, what the f are you talking about? And then they would tell me certain staff members' names, or sometimes they would just say a staff member showed me this thing, told me about that thing, which is terrible. There were times that some people did things physically and didn't want it to be known, that they were like going to this one dinner or something like that. That was talked about to random people that shouldn't have known. Stuff like that. Just completely breaching privacy to a horrific degree. Again, we're VTubers, right? We don't talk about this stuff. We trust our company to protect this stuff. There was one person who I know doesn't show themselves anywhere, but went to a dinner, and I heard a staff member say to a bunch of people who are not NDA'd, who are not part of this, who shouldn't have known, oh yeah, I saw so-and-so here. Why? I brought this up. Again, I want this to be known. I brought these things up when they happened, typically. I don't know who even heard about it. I don't know how far up the chain this was known. I'm pretty sure they knew, though. I brought this up, and I remember when I first joined, one person who was leaking a lot of proprietary information was taken care of, and I was glad about that, but others were not. And I wasn't even, the thing is, some of these people I liked, like on a personal level, I liked. I didn't even want them to like have anything crazy done. I was just like, can you talk to them and make sure this doesn't happen? And nothing changed. I just kept hearing this stuff all the time. And okay, last line of my reply, I said, as the CEO, you are the final check, yes, but this means that all checks before you failed to. That's it, right? And again, I wouldn't say that all staff are bad or anything like that. There are plenty of people who could not have done anything about some of this stuff, who wouldn't have known about some of this stuff, right? But there's more than one person complicit, right? I just didn't like that this statement made it look like it was one, right? And the thing is, there will be some situations where I won't be able to point fingers because I at this time do not know exactly who did what thing, exactly who said what thing, but I do know what happened and a lot of results of this. Learn more about Vshojo from un-NDA'd acquaintances of mine than I did from staff themselves, because they would just like blab to everyone at times.
Wow.
Straight up.
That's crazy. She was so like responsible enough to make sure people were doing shit. Bro, she could be a total like CEO. She should make her own agency, and I bet it would work out. I think another problem maybe is that like maybe Gunrun, like at first he had good intentions, but like when you see so much money, like it can really corrupt some people. Like I've seen it happen to so many like people who start off really, really good and innocent and humble and wholesome, and then like when the money keeps coming in and money, and then like they start to change, and like and you see it firsthand, you see it right in front of you that they start changing, that thing, they start making bad decisions, that they start, and it's like, oh my god. And then they just kept wanting to hire friends. It seemed like he just wanted to keep keeping his friends, like people he really cared about, in the job when they weren't actually good at their job. Like they don't need to be there. It's just more staff being paid and unnecessarily, it seems like what she said. Oof. Like it just ended up getting really bad, and it's such a shame. Like, you know, it really could have gone well. It really could have. I feel like it really could have. This could have... Vshojo could have maybe even surpassed Hololive. Case in point is you saying you still owe me 250k? What do you mean? Go your Vegas of gambling trips! You're not gonna win it. I've ever been to Vegas. I don't even like the idea of going to Vegas, to be honest. It doesn't seem like a place I would enjoy. Vshojo rode the tide up and followed to the complete fiasco of Niji-Sanji. They did. Niji-Sanji's still standing, though. The difference. Chicks aside, Vshojo was set up for greatness and absolute pooped the bed. Yeah, they were so set up for greatness. It could have gone well. I really believe it could have gone well. It's just so many bad decisions. I really believed in them too. That's crazy. Man, I feel so bad for the girls. I saw Henya's video and she was like sobbing that she was like, she really believed in them and that she's like shocked that it did not go well at all. And I just feel so bad for her. Henya was like so sad that she really believed in them, and I believed in them too. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Vshojo is a textbook case of insanely bad management. Yeah, but they were doing so well at first. I think Vshojo was overhyped. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were overhyped. Poor little Kettle. She's one of my top favorites of Vshojo. I really hope that as an indie, like, maybe because of this disaster, like, everyone is just gonna, like, support all the Vshojo girls and they're gonna surround Henya and Iron Mouse and everybody and just, like, really support them even more than when they were in Vshojo. I really hope that happens. Because, according to some talents, they weren't providing that much, if any, help to them. So where's the money going? Surely not the staff. Yeah, what I'm hearing is that he paid more to his friends that were staff than the Vshojo girls, who are the ones bringing in the money, who are the more important ones. Vshojo is one of the best examples of a fall from grace. Yeah, it's so crazy, and I wonder if there's more that's gonna happen, because like, they're not saying everything that's gonna happen because of like the lawsuits and stuff. They can't say everything. So like, when like all the law stuff is over, like maybe they'll reveal even more details. So we still have to wait for them to, like, you know, reveal the whole story. Michi did a tarot card 2025 reading with Matara and Vshojo. Oh yeah, I remember. I remember I saw that. It told her that it said that Michi or Matara, I forgot. That somebody was going to have like a huge change. Something like that. And it was like, whoa, it predicted the future, holy shit. I also hope people support the people that never got the debut. That as well. Like Torio Rian and I'm not sure who else it was. I'm sure like they have their videos up. I just don't know who exactly. I know Mint was one of them. Mint, Torio Rian, and there should be one more girl, I think. I just don't know who it was. But I'm sure if that girl is going to reveal it soon, we'll find out. And oh, it was Pia P. You're right. I remember now. Pia P UFO. That's crazy. And Pia P was in our concert, Niana's concert. Oh, I'm sure she'll do well though. I believe in Pia P. I'm sure she'll do well. Maybe she'll get more popular now. Phoebe too? It was also Phoebe. Oh. Then yeah, Phoebe, I hope people get to support Phoebe even more now. Yeah, Mint. I remember Mint talked about it. I feel so bad for Mint. She came up with the whole idea. Oh, it was Pia, Berrybug, Tori, Phoebe, and Mint. Oh, okay, so it was that huge, a much bigger group than I thought. Berrybug, I know Berrybug. Like, not personally, but I know who she is. That's crazy. It's crazy that Mint had actually signed with them for so long. Yeah. I was wondering if Mint was gonna join something, because Mint seemed like she was kind of like she wanted to be part of something, but she was not doing it. So it was like, is Mint gonna do something soon? Like, I feel like she's mentioned it, that she's been wanting to join something. UFO had like 1,500 to 2,000 people on her stream today, and they're doing good. Oh, I'm so happy for them. I hope it stays up, because oftentimes like people are joining because of the drama, and then it kind of dies down, and then it doesn't stay at 2,000 anymore. But I hope it does. I hope it does. Welcome, Robert Mellis. And how are you doing tonight? And I feel sorry for the former members of Vshojo. I hope they're doing. Yeah, I feel so bad for them. I hope it does get better. I'm gonna like go eat now. I'm eating like really late today. I also really need to pee. I'll end it here. Let's go raid. For some reason YouTube's not letting me raid anyone. I don't know what the hell is wrong with it. So let's just raid only on Twitch. I'm gonna raid my friend Lulu Lasso, okay guys? Let's go say hi to Lulu. Okay, I'm about to start the raid. There we go. Let's go say hi to Lulu. Go say hi to her. She's super nice. Alright guys, I'll see you there. Sayonara. I'll see you there. Sayonara. Bye-bye, guys. Bye. I'm so hungry, and I really need to pee. Bye-bye, guys. Sayonara.